I like the music. Okay. Oh, we've gone live. All right, for sure. Wrong button. No. All right. Got myself set up. Got my hot tea ready. The game going. Got myself stretching the game. Oh, look at me go. Look at how powerful I am. Anyways. So, just hunting for ralts now. I got... Wrong button. I did get a shiny Baniri last time I was on stream. I was actually hunting for ralts off stream. And I want to try and make sure that I end up with a female ralts, because I'd like to get a shiny Gardevoir, and if I get a male, I'm going to want to do the shiny, what's the male one called again? The shiny stabby dancy guy. Yeah, I do have my shiny Baniri now. There we go, right here. It is male, so eventually I'm going to probably go for the female one. Just, you know, reasons and stuff and things. No, it's for the joke team I want to make about the, make them all shiny Pokemon waifus, because I think that would be hilarious. Got an Abra, and got a Kricketot. He had, it looked like he was supposed to have, like, he was in the big hidden ability grass, but I didn't see any major hidden ability there, but anyways. Yeah, so, that's about it. That's all the new stuff that I've done, other than, you know, putting Clefairy at the lead. Should evolve Clefairy into Clefable. I do have a Moonstone, don't I? This music's pretty good in the background. I don't know why I like it, but I do. I used to love giving my Abras and all that the Twisted Spoons. Plates are cool. Does it, when you go to click it, does it give you an explanation of what? No, it doesn't. Oh. So each one of these plates has like a little description about Arceus or something on the back, but you never get to read them again. That's kind of disturbing. Well, not disturbing. That what's the word I'm looking for? Disappointing. There we go. It's kind of disappointing because it's an interesting like little look at the Pokemon mythology stuff, you know. All right, so let's go for ralts. Do 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 do. Got another Kricketot. Not really interested in you, Kricketot. Go away. Don't love you. Run away! Okay. I don't know. Is that... Oh, that does do it automatically. I did not realize that. You can go to the Union Room automatically by just hitting Y. Things that happen when you hit buttons accidentally. Yeah, so not too much going on in the world of Tom at the moment. You know, normal stuff. Everyone's dealing with the same stuff, you know, that I know, you know, the inflation, all that kind of stuff. So we're not going to talk about that, though. No one likes to talk about things like that. Well, some people do. Oh, the hell. That is definitely not the button I was trying to hit. I hit the ZR button and must have hit A at the same time or something. Okay, run away. Do 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 do. All right. I do want to talk about something that I found. I was thinking about board games. Someone I follow on Twitter will post stuff about board games here and there, as well as games he's playing at the moment, like little. Or they. I don't know if they're male or female. I always think they're male just by how they speak. I could be very much wrong. It's easy to be wrong about that stuff. But they like to talk about, you know, whatever video game, like a little review of, okay, you know, this chapter in the video game was a lot of fun, or, you know, I was not too happy with it. And they do the same thing with like board games that they'll play. And so I was thinking about board games that I've played over the years, you know, and I haven't really played too many board games recently. I've played, I'll sometimes play like card games with my nephews and nieces. They like to play like Pokemon card games. So I'll play that. Sometimes I have a deck that I have on hand to fight them. And then, you know, Uncle Tom cracks down and wins the day, so to speak, because, you know, I can't give up my master trainer status yet. Can't let my nephews and nieces beat me just yet. You know, you gotta hold that little, like, oh, I'm still don't, you know, can't let them be Yugi. But what was I say? So, you know, and then I do have some board games that, oh, another fun card game is Cats Against Humanity or something like that it's called, right? My son, his girlfriend, my mother-in-law, and myself played that for like hours last time she visited. It was so stupid. I must have played it at some point because I kind of recall it, but it was just one of those like, oh, okay, like crazy games, you know? Anyways. So, I was just thinking about board games, and, you know, like I said, I used to play a lot more when my wife's around. She used to love playing board games. We played like a lot of Monopoly, you know, and I always purposely try to get the slumlord kind of deal, so I always purposely go after the really cheap rental areas. I don't know why, but I think it's hilarious to be a Monopoly slumlord. So, there we go, ralts. So, okay, give me a second to pull my brain together. Seeing ralts kind of, yeah. So you know, we would play stuff like Monopoly together as a family, or things like that. And we actually got a Walking Dead Monopoly set when we went to visit my wife's family in Georgia. We went to see the Walking Dead set in Georgia. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I wish I took a bunch of photos and I can't find all of them. Like there's a coffee shop that Rick and Negan have a meeting in at one point, and I got to have some coffee in there. That's really cool. I took pictures of it because I wanted to build it out of Legos, but when we got back to home, I couldn't find the pictures for the life of me. But I do have pictures of, like, they rebuilt one of the little set pieces in a little museum, which was one of the jail cells. I got pictures of my daughter and my wife in the jail cell. Got a picture of one of Dale's, you know, cobbled together motorcycles, props, stuff like this. You know, it's just fun stuff. It was a really, my whole family enjoyed the vacation. You know, we took pictures of us walking down the train tracks from the show and stuff like that. You know, the normal, we love this kind of stuff, right? So yeah, so we got the Walking Dead Monopoly, and we used to play that a lot. A couple other games we have a Carmen Sandiego board game that I would love to play, and I never pull out. I don't know why. I would love to play it. It's unopened. My wife bought it in New York, actually. When she visited New York, she bought it. And she passed away the day after she came back from that vacation to see her family in New York. I've never opened it. It's with all my other board games now. Just never opened it. It was just a, you know, board game for the family to play, and no one's ever played it. But yeah, so thinking about like board games like that, and I was thinking about them, and I was like, man, you know, back in about 2009 to 2013, I mentioned on Twitter earlier, Lego actually produced board games. You would put them together, all that kind of stuff, right? Because they're Lego, you put it together. But they produce like little dice board games. I have a couple of them. I had like this volcano one. There was another one. I don't remember what that set was themed, but I remember doing the volcano. There was like a dragon set. And they all played a little bit differently. But then Lego also did one that was kind of like a baby's first tabletop RPG called Heroica. And I know of 4 sets. I have 4 sets. I found out today there was a 5th. that had like the king. I was like, oh, I missed a whole like. So that might become a search for it on Amazon set eventually for me, just so I can have the complete Heroica series. But I want to do a full review of the set, you know, put it back together, look at the instructions, kind of deal, just kind of discuss it a little bit. I have you know, I have all the instruction booklets, and they're actually pretty decent booklets, all things considered. And you know, so I want to discuss them. And you know, I was just looking through the instructions, all that kind of stuff a little bit ago, while I was kind of hanging out in a Discord. Now, I by the way, I do have my own Discord. I should put the link in my descriptions eventually. I invite people in. But anyways, so I was hanging out in another Discord. Hanging out in actually another creator's Discord. Just chatting to people there a little bit. And that's actually where I remembered the Lego board games, because I don't remember how it came up even. I was like I said, I talked about board games earlier and all that kind of stuff, and then somehow came up there too. And I don't know, they're really cool sets, and like I said, I'm looking forward to reviewing them. You know, it's actually right up my alley of stuff, like, you know, building stuff to play with. That's why I love Lego. You know, like I think I showed someone named Nerd Angle, who's here the other day. I showed him some stuff in my back corner there, my ship in a bottle and all that kind of stuff. But what I would love to do is enlarge the world of Heroica, you know, like check out the sets, all that kind of stuff. And I would love to kind of like figure out how I can make this game cooler, like add stuff in, you know, maybe make a little like a story for it or whatever. It'd be cool if I could have other people play with me in it, you know, but don't know how possible that is. You know, it'd have to maybe be something done online, or, you know, I've got a couple of friends that if I could get a hold of them, maybe we could figure out a way to do it together. But I think that would be cool. That'd be a fun little project to do. You know, make it almost like a Lego D&D campaign. You know, you create your own character using one of the things, and you know, you have your preset group of monsters, but of course you can add stuff in. Like, it'd be easy enough to add like a ghost, ooh, right? Stuff like that, you know, just fun stuff. I think it would be very cool. So that's something to consider there. I got up to 21 ralts the other night. I was just chilling and chatting with people. Not online. I wasn't online playing. I was online. I was in the Discord just chilling and chatting and playing, and then actually hung out with a friend of mine on his channel for a little bit, Reading Rock, with Navy and Rock. We kind of just chatted a little bit, and then you can ever get to that message like, hey, da, da, da. And I was like, oh, I gotta go, like, and then it ended up not being anything major, just like, I don't know how to text and not make it sound like an emergency. And I just think, screw it, I'm going to go to bed and read. And so that's what I did. Found a group of 5 books for 99 cents, which is what I'm reading right now, called the Griff the Griffin Rider, by a guy named Marcus Sloss. And they're not bad. Seems to be like a men's harem fantasy world adventure kind of deal. You know, a guy's got a couple of wives and all that kind of stuff, but I'm enjoying that he's not, you know, I'm Alpha Chad. You know, Catamus Prime. He's much more believable as a human, even though he starts off like they start off with the story like making him look like a real right asshole. And his character shifts very hard, very quickly for no discernible reason, even though it doesn't at the same time. Like Marcus Sloss, I think this must have been one of his earlier works, because I actually have some of his other books that I've read. Hey. And his, you know, he's one of those guys where I find him entertaining to read, but he's not one of those guys that I would be like, oh, you guys got to read this guy's books. They're a fantastic book and all that. You know what I mean? Oh, I am so glad I learned about that button on the mic to turn it off. Ooh, those sneezes came out of nowhere. Yeah, he's entertaining, but he's not like I recommend him to be read entertaining, right? They're very simple, simple books. Like he reminds me of the shows that you watch on TV that you enjoy, right? But they're not. They're turn your brain off and enjoy kind of shows. They're not like, they don't cause you to think about it, you know, about a deeper message or, you know, whatever. Now, I will say that there seems to be some mystery involved in the book. Like, there's some discrepancy between when he introduces a character and when the character reappears, basically. Right? Because it's kind of it seems to be an isekai, but it might just be you're in a virtual world, Harry, you know? Yes, I'm ripping on Harry Potter. You're a wizard, Harry. But, so there's that little bit of mystery, but they kind of lean heavily towards, oh, this is, you know, it's not a virtual world, it's a real world. But the discrepancy happens because he kind of disappears from his normal reality at like age 18, and when he reappears, he seems to be about 10 years older. He's, you know, he's older, and he can't account for those missing years and all that kind of stuff. And there's been some hints in the story that he isn't the original version of himself. He's like a clone or something, or but that there was a period of time between 18 and 28 that he did stuff, and he should have memories of it, but he doesn't. And it's one of those, like, it's hinted at in the book that because it's, I don't want to ruin the book in case people want to read it, but there's all these like weird, oh, I forgot to do something here. So because I was chatting with people, I wanted to make sure that I didn't annoy them somehow by having my desktop play. I forgot I turned off all the sound. So we'll get it playing again. We'll save it. Yeah, save the progress. Tonight, Tom is drinking cheapo Kroger green tea. Not very smooth. Kind of stringent and bitter, actually. It definitely would be better with some honey, but I don't really like sweetening up my my drinks too much. I prefer, if they're going to be bitter, they end up bitter. Fucked up that way. Though I will say, I don't have it too often, but the green tea or matcha tea, the matcha ice cream, oh, doesn't happen too often, but sometimes that stuff is just so damn refreshing. Something else I found at Kroger ages ago. It's still there. It's one of their like specialty items, so it doesn't sell very quickly. But is um, rice with ice cream in the middle, like rice balls. You know, like a soft rice dough with ice cream in the middle. That was actually really good. I had it once. I was like, oh, wrong button. Another thing I did last night was I started doing some more skips in Metroid Dread, practicing them. One of them was actually really cool. Another one I could actually probably do a lot earlier than I did. But like I got the screw attack and the gravity suit before you're supposed to get them. Like the only bosses I faced so far is the first boss. Like I don't really count. That means they're more like upgrade challenges than bosses to me. But I faced the first boss, which is the one that gives you the invisibility. I faced off against the Kraid, and I fought the crossbomb boss. That's it. Oh, I got crossbombs way early too. That was actually a really cool trick to do too. It was I had that one was tough. So I've got like the super missile early. I got the grapple beam and the morph ball bombs themselves early. I got the on shift early. I like all these abilities that I can get early. I was just getting early for the fun of it. Now basically it's just go fight all the bosses and finish the game. You know, I gotta get I got ice missiles. I think the next thing I need to get is the next one is storm missiles actually. I apologize if you hear me sniffling a little bit. I'm trying not to, but you can hear me kind of like getting stuffed up as time's going on here. 1 second. Stupid colds. I like coffee. Oh. Blood. It's not coffee, but man, sometimes a hot drink, so good. I would love hot chocolate. Weird things that occurs to Tom. At that moment, it was hot chocolate. Doot, doot, doot. The ferry. Let's see. Friday, I have my next Pokemon playthrough for Fire Red coming out. Tomorrow, I have my Deca base review coming out. So I'm on track for already. Jesus. Try not to sniffle because this mic is actually really strong. I keep thinking, oh God, they're gonna hear me sniffling. Sorry. I apologize if you do hear me sniffling. I'm trying not to. Sometimes I can't help but look at like, usually I'm looking at the screen and like different things going on around the screen. But sometimes I look dead in the corner. There I am. Headphones on with the blue. These headphones are actually really, I love these headphones even though you can't see the light up thing. There's like a little rainbow that travels around it. I love that. I don't know why. Same thing with my keyboard has a rainbow that slowly travels across it. I don't know how you can program the lights beyond that because I really like the one it does now. Do, 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 do. Let's see what else is going on. Tomorrow the next Land of Leodale episode comes out. Looking forward to that. You know, honestly, I don't mind anime, but I just don't watch it too much anymore. I used to watch it all the time. In fact, In the basement, I got it from Suncoast, which is a defunct company. I think Hot Topic bought them out. But Suncoast used to sell all like the anime stuff and all, you know, all the little chichi stuff like that, right? And for 95 bucks, I bought, this is back before we had DVDs. I must have been in like, I don't remember how old I was, but for 95 bucks, I bought the VHS collection of Record of Lodos War. I still have it in the basement. The whole collection set. It's like 9 VHS tapes or some shit like that. Maybe 7. Maybe 7. But yeah, I still have that in the basement. I don't know why I've kept it for so long. I also have 3 Ranma 1/2 VHS tapes that I got from winning a contest with Viz Media. And they're like orange, blue, and yellow. And it's like comes in like a little lunch pail. Don't know why. But I still have those. I don't think I have any other VHSs, but I have those. Let's go to this one. I am king. Bow before your ralts. Bum bum bum. I will capture you, ralts. I will capture you and make you mine. Oh, mercy, that's good stuff. Oh, so warm. All the way down. Makes me excellent. I'm so stupid. Traced my Q-Charm, how dare you? So the reason why I'm using Clefairy with Q-Charm as my lead Pokemon, you look, it's a male Clefairy. And what happens is, in Pokemon, the lead Pokemon, like Clefairy, if they have the ability Q-Charm, will attract the opposite gender Pokemon as your wild battle 66.7% of the time. So basically 67% of the time, I will always run into a female Pokemon. Which increases my odds of getting a female shiny, ralts, quite a bit. I'll be sad if it's not when I get there, but I'll still capture it, and I'll just have to redo the chain. I plan to kind of do the same thing with Bunnery. I'd prefer to have a female shiny Bunnery. Though, I have thought about it. It would be funny to make a trap team. So all the Pokemon that people treat like Pokemon waifus and stuff online, all male, that would be fucking hilarious too. That's the kind of shit that, you know, kind of weird teams I like to make sometimes, because that's funny to me. Like, it's a trap again. Catching you, catching you. Do, do, do. Dog's probably asleep in my bed. Still in my spot. He likes to treat, like, when I'm not in bed and he decides to, like, sleep, he likes to sleep right where I lay down. You know, right up against my pillows and everything. Like, Dad'll never take the spot when he comes back to bed. You know. Yeah, Dad will. There's no problem being like, spot dog. Then he grumbles the whole time. Oh God, why are you making me move? Oh. Kind of deal. Click, click, boom. Do. No, I would not like to give Ralt to Nick. Six. So we got up to 42 on my chain for Bunnery. I have been drinking a lot of tea at night. And a lot of water during the day. Maybe a cup or two of coffee, which is very different from my usual pot or two of coffee lately. Okay. No, I don't want to give off the nickname. He doesn't deserve one. Do. I encountered wild ralts. Again. Good. That is how we are wanting this. One of the best gifts ever, by the way. Little candle that my kids got me for Christmas. The only device I actually, like electronic device that I actually don't have a Kindle on that I normally use is my computer here. I used to have the Kindle on my desktop, but didn't like reading the books on it. I have it on my phone. I have it on my Kindle, of course. Don't have any tablets or anything like that, so no Kindle there. But it's on my phone. So I always have a book at my fingertips. Then I also have some books through the Kindle newsstand. I have some comic books. I've got a bunch of the Ghostbusters comics that I think IDW did. Those are actually really good comics. They were really well done. I don't know. It just captured the feel of like the Ghostbusters very well. And a lot of times in the panels, there's just extra stuff that you don't normally, like, if you don't take time to look, there's just extra in there. Like, there's one panel, usually if you see that, it's because there's some good IDs or something on that Pokemon, if I remember right. But there's one panel, like, where they have the haunted Volkswagen Beetle that turns into the praying mantis monster toy as just driving down the street. You know, they'll have like some of the toys or, you know, ghosts from the cartoon or something in there every now and then. And so I'll spend time just digging through the panels sometimes when I decide to look at the comic. All right, I do kind of want to save that. Actually, let me go look at that Pokemon real quick, because I'm curious. What is so special about that? I know it's supposed to have its hidden ability, which I don't remember what it is. Synchronize, trace, and telepathy. Ooh, what is telepathy? The person allies attack and dodges it. That's actually not bad for like double battles. If I was to do like competitive double battle, that wouldn't be too bad. I kind of want to save this, Ralts. And then view the stats. Oh. I don't know how to see. Oh, it's got like 3, probably. The 9, 9, and 9 are all good. I don't know. I don't know how to actually view, you know, if those are excellent stats or not. You can do it in Sword and Shield. They'll tell you like, hey, these stats are the good stats and all that kind of stuff. But I have no idea. Got so many Pokemon to just trade or release away. All right. Let's go ahead and save that. Save that special Ralts there. We'll save the hidden ability Ralts. Boom, boom, boom. I've got one of those mic cover things on my mic that's supposed to help with popping your peas. I don't know if it does or not, though. Man, getting old sucks. I used to have like thick hair, like my beard. Now it's thinning out. Daughter likes to make fun of me. Don't bother me too much. Just take good care of what hair I have left, and if it gets to a point where I need to, I'll just shave it down. I'm not gonna look foolish on purpose. Better to shave it off than to look like a man without a clue. That's another fun game, Clue. Coming back full circle to board games. Who remembers the Clue movie? I do. That movie was pretty good. My maroon shirt. We're at 12? Okay, we're making okay headway as long as we keep it going. I think I don't like the whole, you know, X% chance of breaking things. It's so weird that it's 7% and it happens quite often. It's like, that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm not getting up to that 93 percentile range in time or something. I don't know. But it just seems odd that it's, you know, 93% chance of the chain continuing and then it breaks so damn much. Do 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 do. I love Ralts is like, I summon Exodia. I don't know. That arms up thing. It's got little arms. It's got T-Rex arms. Usually about now is when my Ralts chains break. When I get to my Great Balls. I always try to go the ones like 4 away for sure, but I can never remember if it's actually 4 away from my spot. Catch another one. I have no problem just throwing balls. That sounds terrible. What the hell is this? Oh, click. So apparently there's like a big old trucker parade happening in Canada right now. You know, like just trucks down the road to protest vaccine mandates for you know 19. And apparently they've like closed the cameras down for the highway. Like you can't view the camera anymore down the highway that they're traveling, and the anti-vax crowds are throwing fits about it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Wow. I am. Hey, Navy, how you doing? Ow. I found a board game that is basically baby's first tabletop RPG that I'm going to be reviewing on my channel. It's because it's Lego. But I had to laugh when I was looking at it because I was thinking like, thinking about I'd like to try and find some way to play it again, you know, with people, but do it up a little differently. Gotta extend this a little. Oh, Hell's Kitchen's a good show. Man, I always forget about that show for some reason. 4 away. What was the show that Gordon Ramsay used to do where he was going to like restaurants and hotels and stuff like that and helping them to fix it up? I used to love that show way more than Hell's Kitchen, even though she liked Hell's Kitchen a lot too. What was that show called, man? Oh, I can't remember. One of Jade's favorite recipes that she swears was hers is Kitchen Night. There you go, Kitchen Nightmares. Is actually a Gordon Ramsay recipe that she stole, and I will never tell any of my family that her turkey recipe that she used to make for Thanksgiving every year is actually a Gordon Ramsay recipe. Don't worry, Navy. I got you in the corner of my screen here on my overlay, actually. It doesn't appear on YouTube, but it does appear on my thing. So I see ya. But yeah, I found this Lego. I got it ages ago, and I used to play it with Jay and my son Nick. We used to play it together because Sophia was little. She was like, you know, 3 or 4 when it came out, I think. Let me see here. What is the copyright on this? Don't see a copyright in here. Really? Oh. Sometime between 2009 and 2013, so she would have been between 1 and 5. And we used to play this all the time, and basically it's like I said, it's tabletop RPG light, you know. You build like a little I don't know how well this will show up, so let me fix my camera up so it shows up decently. So you build just like a little playscape, right? And then you take your heroes and all that kind of stuff, and you have somebody play as the bad guy, and you know, you have like so you go around and you kind of you know, tell a story like, oh, you know, we were going through the caves of like this one here that I just popped up on the screen is Waldark, right? So you're going through the forest of Waldark, and it's full of evil wraiths and werewolves. And you know, you can find like potions and spells, and you know, you gotta fight, you know, spiders and stuff like that. You know, oh, you gotta go through the trees. Well, you know how, you know, movement is restricted in the trees. You know, so you roll your dice and you got a -1 or 2 from the movement depending on how you built it, and all this very, very cool stuff. You know, so I'm probably gonna review there's 4 of them. There's 5 total sets. I have 4. So I'll probably just review them one at a time, then kind of build it up. And I thought about it'd be kind of cool to add stuff to it and make like a world, you know, and find a way to play with my friends or something like that, or people online or something. And kind of do like a little light Lego RPG tabletop kind of deal online, if I can figure out a way to do it. I think that would be fun. Yeah, it's like I said, they were really, I completely forgot about them, and I don't remember. Like I was thinking about board games earlier, and I don't remember what jogged my memory. Actually, I was in Discord talking to like Leroy and stuff like that earlier when he was in the Discord too, and it just occurred to me. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about these games, you know. So I'll probably end up working on the reviews and all that a little bit later this week. If I hadn't pulled them out so late this evening, I probably would have been working on them just now, even, you know. But yeah, it's like, you know, it's like baby's first tabletop RPG, and it's kind of cool because it's simple enough that you could really probably make a really fun story to go with it. You know, it doesn't have to be just, oh well, we're just, you know, roll the dice, get to the end, beat the bad guy, because they're made to connect together even. So it's made to be like this one long campaign even. And so what I'm missing is actually the final set. It turns out is like the King's Castle kind of deal. So like there's the forest. Let me see here. There's the Forest of Waldurk, which I like is an abandoned like keep, which, you know, like an abandoned druid's keep or something like that. It looks like. You know, you make up your own story for what it actually is if you want. And there's the Castle of Fortan, which is like the evil goblin's castle. You know, so it's got like a dungeon and stuff like that. There's the Caverns of Nalus, which has some more like golems and bats and stuff like that, it looks like. And then there is a small one, which is just the Beaches of Drada. So it's a really like little simple, you know. I think the Beaches of Drada is actually the one I got originally, and then I bought the other three when I saw them. You know, you can make your own little fun, like, you know, story and all that kind of stuff very easily with this. But I think that would be kind of cool to do. Oh, a big old jug of green tea going. Back in there. Which is only getting more and more bitter as time goes on because I just leave my bags in there. Alright, enough of that music. Ooh, that's hot. They definitely made it so that if you really want a shiny, you actually have to be willing to go for it in these games. Which is kind of nice because, you know, it can... Okay, yes. Nope, keep the old move, screw it. Do not get to learn the move. You know, it can increase your playtime and give you something to aim for. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting 4 rows because much less chance of your chain breaking if you go exactly 4 away from your character and not, you know, closer or further. So either 4 up or 4 left, right, down kind of deal from where you're standing. But yeah, I just wanted to... Well, first off, I wanted to stream anyways, just to spend some time playing this game online. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so this is only 4. But, also kind of wanted to just get away from some of the major drama that seems to be going online right now. You know, Twitter's a little bit more... Oh no, not my Master Ball! Well, I caught him. This is the only time I hope my chain breaks. I was not paying attention. I'm just throwing Pokeballs now. Like, go! Damn. This ball can catch any Pokemon. Are you sure you want to use it on Ralts? Yeah. Yeah, I'm in. God damn it. Hey, Anon, how are you doing? Wasted my... Just wasted my damn Master Ball on Ralts. Sitting here just chatting, not paying attention to what Pokeball was in the thing, and I'm like, I threw it. That should not be funny. Yes, it is, but it's fucking killing me. Oh, okay. I'm okay. Oh. Oh, phew, I thought I broke my chain. Nope. I don't know where I was. Oh, well. Oh. Oh, I had tears in my eyes. I really don't know why that was so funny, but it is to me. Like, level 5 Ralts with a Master Ball? Gotta make sure you catch this one. Didn't even use it on the legendaries. Not a goddamn Ralt. Man, how you doing, Anon? I hope you're doing well. Oh, you joined the part of the stream where I'm laughing at myself? Oh, whew. Oh, I needed that laugh. That was a good laugh. Oh. Oh, okay. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Okay. Ooh. You know, I 1, 2, 3, 4. I do agree that there seems to be a lot of unhappy people online today from all sides that I'm well, not from all sides, from specific sides. But part of why I decided to stream a little bit too, like I was telling Navy, I part of it was I wanted to stream, I wanted to play the game, and just kind of chat about, you know, I was talking about books and stuff like that a little bit ago. Talking to Navy about a Lego board game I plan on reviewing on my channel. You know, Navy, you are one of the few people, like, every time you put out a picture, I'm like, well, damn. Right? Like, every goddamn time, it's like something really amazing or really cute, and I'm like, fucking Navy has got to have like 8 billion followers on Twitter because he's got the cutest fucking or most interesting Twitter I've ever seen. But yeah, there's a lot of very unhappy people. And 2, 3, 4. I honestly have some sympathy for some of them. Maybe, you know, not. Fuck it. I have no sympathy for a lot of them. You know, Steve and all that kind of stuff does not get any sympathy from me. I don't feel bad for him. He seems to call down upon himself his own evils. You know, he's his own prophet of disaster. You know, same thing with Roadhog. Roadhog is his own fucking worst enemy, and he doesn't even realize it. He does terrible things and can't understand why people look at him and go, "Oh my fucking god!" Right? I feel some sympathy for his wife. I don't. Well, I get that Master Ball back. I get to throw it again. You know, I feel sympathy for her because you never know how trapped she might feel in a situation. She might. I've known a lot of people who have had. I don't have sympathy for her actions. Maybe empathy is better, probably the better term. The two are used kind of interchangeably at times, and I might be doing that myself. But I've known people who have been in relationships similar to what I see them in. You know what I mean? And so I have empathy, probably is a better term, for herself as a person. But yeah, it I can understand that, and I feel there's and you know, it's one of those things that, to me, a lot of people sometimes acknowledge, but they kind of poo-poo away because of some things. But I have actually some, like, Steve McRae could be a whole lot better than he is. The man is not, I wouldn't say he's intelligent. He's smart. And in order to do what he does, he has to have a certain amount of charm and charisma to help keep the people with him. And unfortunately, it's all aimed the wrong way. He's poisonous to himself, and the sad thing is, he could be extremely successful on goddamn YouTube. And when I first saw him on NSS and all that kind of stuff, I used to be very impressed by him. I was very drawn to him, and it makes it easy to ignore the stuff that, you know, he's done. And I think that's part of what happens with some of these other people that do these terrible things and act these terrible ways. People kind of have the ability to ignore what they do, in part because they stroke the yeah, that I can. 1 second. Let me take care of that for you real quick, Navy. 1 sec. I keep meaning to do this anyways. Let's see. If I do this. Where you at? All right, Navy, I shot you a link to my Discord, actually. I keep meaning to invite you to it, and I never do. I'm almost never in there myself, except posting links or little chats with Blono in there every now and then. Oh, wait, wrong one. Damn it. Wrong stream room. Yeah, oh, crap. Yeah, I went to the wrong room. 1 second, Navy. I meant to invite you to my Discord instead of CJ's. There we go. Now you're in the right one. Yeah, I'm like, streaming, that's the one, because I have streaming too. I was like, why does this not seem right? Alright, give me 1 second to make sure I gotta set it up on my OBS too, because I have it separated from my desktop and all that kind of stuff, so I don't accidentally stream OBS. 1 sec. Alright, and then I just gotta add... let's see, audio input capture, go here, and it's this, if I remember. Right? All right, Navy, go ahead and say something. All right, I don't think I have it set up properly. 1 sec. I gotta. Let's see. Hey, Lono. I'm trying to figure out how to add Navy onto the thing here. I thought I had it set up properly, but I don't remember. Do I have it set up on a different channel still? So I figured it out somewhere else. Yeah, you guys get to see all my different my different streams windows here. This was when I was building something on here. Let's see. Back to the regular one. Let's see. Maybe. All right, I have it set up on the aux. Yeah. Okay. So it should be. Let's see. How do I add? Okay, so it's definitely thing. All right, so we go here, and it should be this one, right? Yeah, it should be that. And this is why you should never try to set the stuff on the fly. Let's see. And maybe... Alright, see if that worked. Let's see. Go ahead and speak again, sorry. Yeah, I'm not showing it popping up on that. Weird. It should be working according to the thing. I've got the feed going directly. This is why I shouldn't be doing this on the fly sometimes. Let's see. Let's try. All right, go ahead again. See, I can hear you just fine through my headset, but that's because I actually have the proper thing set up on voice meter. It should be, because I have it set up on voice meter as track B, and according to this, that's what I have running through the audio input. Maybe I need to change it to output. Oh, you can hear Navy? Okay, they can't hear you. Okay. This will teach me to listen to you. Okay, let's try this.
Okay.
Oh, I just saw something. Speak again.
Check.
All right, they should hear you now because I'm seeing it on my audio mixer.
All right, y'all hear me now? Yep. Okay.
There we go.
Lono says he can hear me. So
Perfect. Now I just got to change it so I can take my button press off here. 1 second. I got to fix that in Discord.
good deal. How's everyone doing, man?
All right, there we go. Voice activity on instead of push to talk. Everyone in the house is doing pretty good. How you guys? How are you doing? You said you had you finished your student off all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. So I have a couple different students that I'm helping. So as a linguist in the military, you have a test you have to take every year called the DLPT, right? The Defense Language Proficiency Test. And if you're not proficient up to a certain level, then you get like a mentor, like someone who's going to help you like advance, right?
Okay.
And so I have about 3 students right now that I am mentoring to get better at Spanish. And so one of the things I do is I hold a speaking hour, where they have to actually practice speaking in the native language, or not native language, but the whatever the target
language of choice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So one of my students is well, she's at home most of the time. She's a single mother, and so we talk on the phone, and we speak for an hour in Spanish, right? But in the majority of Spanish, like, you have some English thrown in every now and then, but the goal is to try to minimize that as much as possible to get their fluidness up and to get them more comfortable with the language, because the test that we take deals with listening and reading.
Okay.
And reading is relatively easy. Like, if anyone who's ever learned a second language, reading is relatively easy, easier than listening, right?
Oh yeah.
So one of the things we do, and I tell my students, is that I've been speaking Spanish for over 20 years, right? And so one of the things I tell them, though, is the way I got to be where I am and to be able to do what I do is because I was not afraid to practice speaking. Because if you practice speaking, your listening automatically tunes up, right? Because you're having this interaction, you're having to, understand what you're saying. If you're speaking to like someone who's like from Puerto Rico or Cuba or Venezuela or whatever.
Well, that's the important part of any time of learning and being proficient in anything, is being willing to practice it,
Well, the problem is, though, is that a lot of non-natives, right, are scared in the beginning, and I understand, understandably so, right, of sounding stupid or, making mistakes, right? And that's the big thing I try to tell them, is that you can't be afraid of making mistakes, right? To this day, I make mistakes speaking Spanish, right? And I'm relatively fluent in Spanish. Fluent enough that I can probably get around anywhere I go, right? You drop me off in Latin America, I'll make my way back, right?
Right.
But I still make mistakes. But the difference is that I may make mistakes on conjugation or, certain word usage. I just don't stop. So it doesn't derail what I'm doing. And for a lot of these guys, they're still in there's a phase I call where you're translating stuff in your head, right? And, Tom, you dealt with this before, teaching ASL and all this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? Or ESL, right? And so the thing is that you, the only way to get past that point where you're having to stop and translate everything in your head is to practice. And the best way to practice, in my opinion, is speaking. Because when you're having to talk about topics you like, or you're having to, describe something, right? The more you do it, the less you stop and think about the words you're going to use, right?
Right.
I tell them all the time, I may not know the specific word for what I'm trying to say, but I know how to talk around it, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what happens, and you get to a point where you're no longer stopping and translating in your head; it just automatically comes out, right? And because you know what you want to say, your brain knows what you want to say, so it just comes out in a way that makes sense. And the only way to keep doing that is to practice all the time.
Yeah, it's I think I've mentioned it before. I'm way out of practice and I couldn't do it to save my life anymore. But I took 3 years of Chinese. Actually, I was working on a minor in Chinese languages, Mandarin, when I was in college. I was going to major with my civil engineering, and then I was going to minor in Chinese language, kind of deal, like Mandarin. I hit that, and to do that, you have to actually take some culture courses and stuff like that too. But I was almost done
Yeah.
with the language portion,
Right.
and yeah, one of the things that we did in order to um, increase our ability to speak the language was we used to go to well, I used to go to like a Reddit kind of deal forum where you could just talk to people in that
Yep.
language kind of deal.
Yeah.
Don't say wow, Anon. I couldn't speak Chinese to save my life anymore. My Mandarin is terrible. I
I was
remember
like my
that I see
Persian.
is like Bing Cha, and that's about it.
My Persian has gone down so much. I haven't had a chance to practice it. You know, the language is definitely a use it or lose it top skill, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know, there's things that like you'll recognize or whatever. Like if I hear Persian, I can understand it for the most part. But as far as speaking it, like I haven't spoken Persian with anyone else, you know, in years, and it's sad because I want to get back to it because I love the language, but it's just been one of those things. Whereas Spanish is, especially in the southern United States, is readily common, so it's a
Well,
lot easier to practice.
Spanish is what a romance language, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and
Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, and Romanian actually.
oh, and it's like it's one thing like as long as people don't speak it too quickly, or like if it's written down, especially if it's written down in English. If it's
Mhm.
written down in in like if I see Mandarin written in non-English now, I couldn't read it either. I used to oh, I hated that. I hated writing all
Oh,
that
the
stuff down.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh I hated it and liked it at the same time. It's actually a really incredibly it's the same thing with a lot of the Japanese character language. It's very beautifully done when someone who does it professionally does it. But
Oh, the artistic styles of like the
yeah.
Japanese and Chinese languages are amazing. That's the thing that's different about the Korean language, right? So Korean is very symmetrical the way they write it, right?
Okay.
So if you ever look at like the Korean characters, they're very like,
They're very straight
uh,
lines from
very straight, yeah, very straight lines, right? Whereas like the Chinese and the Japanese, like it's almost like Arabic to an extent and some Persian where you can get into like an art form in the way you write it. You know what I mean?
well,
And
they're very picture based if you actually break it down to some of the stuff like Ren, which is basically it's actually have so Japanese and Chinese. The Japanese and Chinese culture actually kind of have a debate about who spurned what culture-wise for language
oh, nice.
because they're very
There's a lot
similar.
of there's a
They're
lot of
very
hate
similar in
between the two
appearance,
cultures
right?
too. Yes.
So I actually have a hat that says "I love Ninja" in Japanese on it. It's from a an anime that I used to collect like loot boxes ages ago, and this was from an anime that they were promoting at the time, right? So this hat, see if it'll actually stay here. There we go. It says "I love Ninja" on it, right? And the character that's right after the heart is Nin in Japanese and Ren in Chinese, and it basically in Chinese, Ren means person, and so it's
Hmm.
supposed to represent a person standing up with their legs kind of standing tall and proud with their legs open. Is how the teacher, when I was taking my Mandarin, discussed it. So it was kind of funny because when you speak Mandarin, like talking about it actually brings some of the memories back. But you would say like if you would say like I'm from Beijing, you would say sure Beijing ra or sure Beijing ren, right? So now, mind you, that's me speaking with an accent in Mandarin because my teacher had an accent. So it's written SHI, and depending on who says it province wise, they pronounce it differently. So I
Right.
learned it sure, and it's like some people pronounce it shi kind of deal. So depending on region, you can tell who's taught you the language.
Oh, it was the same way like when I was learning German in college, right? because you have either German teachers or you have like Swiss teachers, and it's pronounced like really differently. Like I couldn't understand Swiss German to save my life. It's like it's that like singy songy, you know,
Instead of the more, um,
right?
yeah.
Like Auf Deutsch, right,
Hmm.
aspect. And so it was like, ich liebe dich, and kind of aspect. Whereas, it's like, ich liebe dich, right? If
Yeah.
only you say like I love you in German, right? But if you only use the Auf Deutsch. And Anon says I should purchase some Rosetta Stone instead of watching YouTube. You gentlemen are inspiring. Thank you very much for that. That's a very nice thing to say. Rosetta Stone's good. And like I said, the biggest thing for me is if you want to learn a language, just find a place that you can practice speaking it, because the reading and all this kind of stuff will come. Most of it's just memorization of the alphabet and learning what the words mean. But if you want to get the fluidity of it, and there's two things you need to do, in my opinion, in order to master a language. One is understand the culture, right? Because if you don't understand the culture, you won't understand where words come from and how they use them, the phrases they use, right? And the true, like, understanding of slang terms and things of that nature. And two is to practice speaking it. So practice speaking it as much as you can. Don't be afraid to sound, like you're a non-native, because you are a non-native. Don't be afraid to make a mistake and let them correct you. We forget that, especially in the United States, there are immigrants all the time that are doing the exact same thing. They're speaking English. And if you've ever talked with someone who is a non-native English speaker and they're speaking English, you notice the mistakes they make, but it doesn't stop
The
you from
understanding.
understanding what they're
Yep.
saying, right? And that's
Yeah.
why I literally told my student this tonight. I was like, the thing is, I still make mistakes in Spanish. Like I make mistakes with conjugation and stuff like that when I'm speaking, but the difference is I don't stop. So if I'm giving you an impromptu debate, or if I am describing something to you and I use the wrong verb tense, I'm not going to stop, because the thing is, I know that you understand what I'm saying. Like I have created enough context for you to understand what I'm saying, right? And so I just keep on going. And that's where the confidence building comes in, of like, yeah, you can make mistakes and just keep on going. And the thing is, what I tell people, especially non-natives, is that when you're listening to someone talk to you, like I have friends who are from Puerto Rico, Cuba, Venezuela, I understand maybe probably about 93, 94% of what they're saying, right? Which sounds like a lot, but there is a lot of context you can
Yeah.
miss. But the thing is that if you understand the majority of what they're saying, you understand the context of what they're saying, you can respond back, right?
Right.
So you, yeah.
Yeah. So Navy mentioned, and this is kind of going along with what he said, is for a while there I was actually teaching English to native Chinese students who were, working on going to college in China. So they were like high school level, basically, middle school, high school level.
Yeah.
And part of what I was supposed to do is to teach them slang so that they didn't come across uncultured when they would come to the United States on business.
Oh, it's gotta be the hardest job in the world. Oh my gosh.
Oh, so
There's so much, because our
oh,
language is such a a, this
explaining
mixture.
explaining bad was actually quite a bit of fun, because you kind of have to make it a game a little bit sometimes, especially for when they get younger, so they don't feel so embarrassed to make the mistakes.
Hmm.
The high school kids weren't so bad because they kind of had it beaten out of them. No, I'm joking. Not really, but I am. If you,
Tiger mom.
I've known some Chinese moms, and oh,
Hmm.
uh, there's a reason why Chinese students in general do so well in school. I'm not gonna degrade, their parenting methods.
Tiger. They call them tiger moms for a reason, right?
Yeah. But you have to. One thing that we did in my class, kind of the same thing with you, Navy, is they weren't allowed to speak Chinese out
Hmm.
loud.
Hmm.
They had to write it and all that kind of stuff. And so as the teacher, at times I had to not laugh, but there's been some mistakes that were like, I don't teach that anymore, so I can actually talk about it a little bit better than I used to be able to under contract. Navy and
Yeah.
I've had this discussion before. There'd be some times where I went to talk about something, I'm like, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
um, the rules I had to follow were very stringent about what I was allowed to discuss culturally. It's a chain. What I was allowed to discuss culturally outside of China. I couldn't discuss certain political movements. I couldn't discuss certain things that were happening in the U.S. Anywhere else. I had to actually turn in whatever stuff I was going to be talking about to the school a week ahead of time, so that they could say, yes, you can talk about this, or no, you can't. And, I'm not going to get into the political ramifications, the whole human aspect, all that kind of stuff. That's a little bit above my pay grade in some ways. I have opinions on it. Of course, I love more people to be more free.
Of course. Yeah.
But at the same time, I can't force that on the Chinese people until they kind of force it on themselves. But so like I said, there was some stuff I couldn't talk about, but I remember one time I did a lesson on I can't even remember why, but it was on, basically we were talking about battleships.
Interesting.
And basically we were talking about large vessels, right, that hold a lot of people, and that's why battleships came up. And because we were talking about, people say boat for everything.
Yeah.
Right. So that was kind of the slang term I was also working on, because sometimes people say boat for just large things that are, oh, look at that boat driving by, a big old car driving past.
Well, funny story. Yeah, in the United States Navy, a boat, if you say like I was on a boat, right, you're actually referencing a submarine.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy. But yeah,
everything else is a ship. Anything that's gray and floaty on top of the water is a ship, right?
Right.
So I was on this ship, I was on that ship, but back when I was on my old boat, that is directly a reference to a submarine.
Probably because the term U-boat refers to a submarine, yeah? An undersea boat?
I'm assuming. I don't know where it actually came from, but yeah, that's why they have like the cob, right, which is the senior enlisted person on a submarine, is the chief of the boat, right? And yeah, so and I actually have never looked into where that reference came from. I'm going to do that and figure out exactly where it came from. But yeah, it's definitely a slang term, like, and then the reference of what you're talking about.
Right? But yeah, so the slang term that they had to learn for that class was boat, and what it can, different ways to use it. And it sounds silly to teach them that, because how's that going to come up business wise or even socially? But it's kind of a jumping off point for teaching them to broaden their horizon on how words can be very different from their intended purpose. But the reason why I bring it up, because we were talking about mistakes being made, I had one kid who would constantly refer to it as butt. And it wasn't like him making like a pronunciation error. It just was mistranslating in his head, between his head and his mouth. So he kept so he had to write an essay, and he wrote an essay about the big butt that drove down the road. I couldn't laugh for the life of me. You gotta take it seriously, right?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Man, there was a part of me that so badly wanted to send a "I like big butt" song to him, but I wasn't allowed to do something like that. Like
Juvenile, well, like, and literally, that's big. The guy who's saying that, I like big butts, is Juvenile.
Yeah.
And no, and that's that's the thing. And then you get into things like Anon was talking about in chat, right? Is that the so many words can mean so much. And I want to tell you an interesting story. When I talk to people from Latin America who don't speak English, right, and trying to explain to them that we use the word love to mean a broad spectrum of love, right?
Very broad, yes.
Whereas a lot of cultures, right, I'm assuming the Chinese culture is the same way to an extent, they have it all like separated out, right?
Yeah, there's different terms for different types of love, yeah.
Right, the same thing in Spanish, right? And so if I'm telling like like a wife or girlfriend I love her, right, it's different from me telling like my buddy that I love him, right? Because to them, the way they would interpret it was that I said I remember one time I told a buddy of mine, we were together, I was like, I love you, brother, right? And
Yeah.
the guy looked at me in Spanish. He's like, are you guys gay? And I'm like, no, 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 no. I was like, you have to understand, love is a single word that has broad meaning, whereas in your language, there's separate words for each,
Right.
iteration.
Yeah, it's just like I see it a lot in well, I hear it a lot in Japanese because, every now and then my daughter Sophia and I will watch anime together at night.
Hmm.
She hasn't been in the mood to hang out with dad at night. Instead, she just goes straight to bed now after she showers. We used to hang out after she showered for like a half hour or so and watch a show or two together, but she's being a butthead and won't hang out with dad at night lately. But
That's not cool anymore.
no, I don't know what's going on there. It was she went on vacation and she came back and decided it wasn't cool enough. But
From what I understand, that's how it kind of happens.
yeah.
I don't know for sure. I don't have kids, but I hear it's a
Well, the thing was,
switch.
it was in like the last 6 months. It was like suddenly it was like, when did I stop being cool? Like she likes to talk to me. Like she'll come into my room to hang out and talk to me if I'm up there, or we'll talk when I'm downstairs and all that kind of stuff, right? But suddenly it was no longer. Well, shit. Sorry. This Pokemon appears randomly in routes. This is the Pokemon you want to use something like a Master Ball on. Not the fucking ralts.
So I'm gonna let you know, like, I am literally Pokemon stupid. So yeah, I have no clue what's going on.
It's fine. Nothing major is going on. So what it is they don't do it too often anymore that I can think of. But especially in the original games, they would do what was called roaming Pokemon. And it's Pokemon that generally is a legendary Pokemon. Which means that you're
literally gonna have to tell me what a legendary Pokemon
that's what I was about to do. Legendary Pokemon are Pokemon that kind of fit the mythology of the world. They're gods in a sense, right? So like in this game you have a Pokemon that's supposed to be the controller of time, the controller, or there's another one that controls space. And then you have these Pokemon. Then there's so it's all based on the creation myth of this area of the world in Pokemon, which is the Sinnoh region, which is based on, I can't remember which region of Japan anymore. But basically the creation myth is there's this special god named Arceus, and Arceus creates two Pokemon, one that creates space and one that creates time, and they together they create matter, right?
Okay.
And when they do that, they created Antimatter, which is another legendary Pokemon. This Pokemon Giratina, who lives in a weird world that, everything is screwed up. It's an antimatter world. And in order to populate the world, Arceus created 3 more beings. They're called Spirit, which is the one I just caught, Azelf, and Uxie. And they're supposed to be like courage. They're supposed to represent like courage, emotions, and the mind. And so those 3 together created life on the world kind of deal. And so what happens is, these Pokemon are supposed to be extra special and all this kind of stuff. So they're considered legendary Pokemon because they deal directly with the myths of the world.
Gotcha.
And so what happened is, in order to make the game a little bit longer, when the games first came out, they would have these legendaries and they would have them roam after you find them. They'd be like, okay, cool, you found me, now you got to catch me, and they'd run away. And so you'd randomly run into them in like routes and such. And I haven't bothered to check my route finder, and apparently this was the route that I ended up on. So because you can so that's why you have like the Master Ball and all that kind of stuff is Pokemon that would be like, oh well, you found me, now I'm running away again. Because they'll do that. Because they're fucking assholes. But yeah, so a little bit. For as childish as these games are, right? Because these are definitely games that are meant more for kids and all that kind of stuff. I have no problem admitting that, the mythology in these games are actually kind of interesting. Like, there's this god that created all the Pokemon, supposedly, right? And then you can separate it between mythology and science. And both of them actually seem to work in this world because it's, you know, you run into these Pokemon that represent actual mythological things, and they have, like this game, you catch the Pokemon that deals with time. And the other version of the game, you catch the one that deals with space. And it actually starts to warp time before you capture it because, you know, the evil bad guys, you know, subjugate it kind of deal and start to use it to try and take over the world, to remake it in their image. And so it seems that in this world, you know, these myths seem to be at least based somewhat in reality by the powers that these Pokemon hold. Well, there's also a Pokemon in the original game called Mew, and Mew is supposed to be the like the progenitor Pokemon. All the Pokemon are supposed to be born from this Pokemon in some way. So it's one of those like, well, it's evolution and mythology kind of mixed together, like, because Pokemon Company was like, yeah, we have a bunch of different myths, and pick the one you want. Like, none of them, each different region has its own mythology, which makes sense because that's how the real world is. And I actually kind of like that. And I like the fact that it's based somewhat in reality of this world, and the fact that these Pokemon hold these amazing powers. Or there's like another game where there's an old man you run into off and on in the game, and it turns out he's like centuries upon centuries old. He's like 1,500 years old.
Oh,
wow. And it's because he considers it a curse, but basically there's talk in a lot of the games about wars. Like, you don't really see them in this game, but there's talk about these ancient wars that occurred where people used the powers of the Pokemon to fight one another. And he harnessed the power of one of the Pokemon to try and destroy the other nation with this giant laser cannon.
wow.
And basically, the cannon doesn't work properly, and the Pokemon that he's using is his own Pokemon. And so to save him, his Pokemon like sacrifices itself, and somehow it causes him to live forever. So he feels it's a curse because now he's without this Pokemon that, you know, meant something to him for whatever, you know, besides just being a weapon. And he's cursed to now wander and watch as everyone else kind of made these same mistakes, because there's a couple other wars that occur and all. Like I said, the mythology...
Can't intervene or what?
No, he just watches. It's like I said, doesn't have to make sense. It's a game, you know. It's not, you know, deep literature, but it's very interesting in the fact that they have these kind of thoughts thought out sometimes. Like there's been mentioned a few wars. There's one character in the very first game called Lieutenant Surge, who's supposed to be an American, and he's supposed to have fought in the last war that used the last war. He's supposed to be based off of a guy who like was in like a Vietnam War or something like that. It looks like, you know, and he's talks about how they used Pokemon in the war that he fought in, and it's only due to the reason why he uses the Pokemon he uses is because it's only due to the intervention of, you know, this Pokemon that he and his people managed to actually live through the last war or whatever, you know. So like I said, there's a very interesting world that's built up around how people would abuse the power that these Pokemon hold and the myths and all, you know. They took it out, but in one of the in a later version of it, but in the original version, there is, and I can't remember which game it is for the life of me. It actually might be these games that these are remasters of. But they talk about how humans and Pokemon used to live together and eat at the same table and marry one another.
Oh wow, that's odd.
Yeah, that's I think why they took it out, because it's a off translation. Like the translation is live together. Like they used to eat at the same table and live and support one another.
They would coexist.
And the person who translated it at the time wasn't the same translator that was doing it for years. This guy named Knob. Because Nintendo decided to, he was basically a freelancer, and Nintendo decided to take and put it all in-house, and he kind of lost his job, and the guy who was in-house translated it from living together to married to one another because, like you said, context. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that book's no longer in any of the games because it's a bad translation. But something I found out that was actually really interesting. The guy who used to translate these, like I said, the guy named Nob, his family is actually Japanese royalty. And
Oh wow.
they lost their nobility during World War II. I can't remember
Oh
why.
yeah.
It had something to do
There's a
with some treaties and all that kind of stuff. But his family lost their noble status, and they ended up moving to Canada, and he ended up becoming a translator. For whatever reason, they ended up working for Nintendo, and even though he no longer does the translations for a lot of the Pokemon games, he's usually honored in some way in the Pokemon games. Like, there is, in a lot of the games, you can run into somebody who is either named after one of his daughters is in one of the games, or there's actually trainers who are named after him in a lot of the game. Which is kind of like I like when they're like, you know, here's the guy that spent, I think, the first, oh man, 4 games he translated all on his own, basically. They had one guy who worked for Nintendo, and he did some of the translations. And in the original games, you can tell who translated what by how the word is written in the text that appears. So it used to be that all the proper nouns and move names and stuff like that were in caps. So the names of Pokemon, trainers, moves, towns, certain buildings, and all that kind of would be all in caps. And that was the Nintendo guy translating it. And then all Knob stuff would be written properly with, you know, uppercase and lowercase letters.
Wow.
So if you ever play the original games, you can see who translated what by how it's written. And yes, Anon, I have watched quite a few of the Marvel movies. I haven't watched them all.
I
But
think I'm caught up.
I've mentioned it more than often in the past. I haven't really watched movies and TV a lot lately. I don't know. I just kind of lost interest in a lot of it.
I'm missing the new Spider-Man movie. It's the only one I haven't seen yet, right? But I've seen the Eternals. I've seen Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, and yeah. So I think I'm just missing the new Spider-Man movie. Is all I'm missing when it comes to Marvel.
I haven't seen the third Thor movie or Black Panther. That's the Shang-Chi one, Anon. I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen Eternals, though I do know the storyline for Eternals. I haven't seen the last 2 Spider-Man.
It wasn't my favorite film. It was not my favorite Marvel film at all.
Eternals?
Yeah.
I saw a couple of reviews on it, and the ones that were very much unbiased and were kind of like honest with it, a lot of them didn't like it either. They said that there's just too many characters for what they're trying to do, and they Link, why did Link hurt you? Oh, probably Lono.
What? I'm
I don't
sorry.
know.
What?
I'm trying to figure out what Nerd Angle meant by Link, you hurt me.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, that's the only one I'm missing is Spider-Man, so I'm pretty caught up. But so there's a new Thor movie coming out. You haven't watched the third? You mean what's it called? Ragnarok? You haven't watched Ragnarok?
No.
You have got to watch Ragnarok. It is probably one of the. So it's got like a serious aspect to it. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
No, Nerd Angle, I agree with you. Eternals was okay. That's why I waited until it came out on Disney Plus to watch it. Because I heard all like the reviews and stuff, and they're like, don't go see this in the theaters. Like, it's not worth the ticket prices. But the Thor Ragnarok is probably, I would hands down say, one of my favorite Marvel films of all time.
You know, the last Marvel film, like Infinity War and all that kind of stuff, was fun.
Thor Ragnarok, Lono. Thor Ragnarok.
You know, Infinity War and Endgame and all that kind of stuff was fun to watch. But my favorite Marvel movie that like I've watched it 3 or 4 times. Was the Spider-Man Spider-Verse movie, the animated one they did?
I have not seen that one yet. I heard it was good. I heard I need to watch it, but I
It was
haven't.
very entertaining.
Okay,
Um,
I'm gonna have to watch it then because I know Miles Morales is in it. A lot of the others, right? It's the same thing with the Spider-Man movie where they do this like multiverse aspect where they bring back Tobey Maguire, and that's how I
yeah,
date
yeah.
myself. Like I'm talking about like some of these kids that like some of my soldiers and my sailors and airmen and all this kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, let me explain to you guys how long I've been in the military. I was like, when I got to A school the first time, the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was in the theaters. Like I went and watched it in the theaters,
Same here.
right?
Same here.
2002, right? So,
I,
you know,
I my pals and I all climbed into a beat up van and went and watched the movie together. I think like 7 of us went and watched this movie together.
so but Thor Ragnarok, like I can't remember if anyone in the chat knows the director's name. It's Tai Waititi, I think. I can't. He's the New Zealand guy, right?
Okay.
That is producing these. Thor Ragnarok was probably one of the funniest movies I have seen. Like I don't think I laughed. I've laughed, so hard in that movie. It was so great.
Yeah, the
Like it was very
I
serious. Like, there's a very serious premise to it when it
I was
had to
just say
do with like his
the
sister and all.
the Marvel movies seem to do very good in having another good one that is for that is the Galaxy of the
Yes,
Guardians,
Lana.
right?
Yeah, Guardians
The
of the Galaxy. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, amazing. Yeah.
I said that backwards, didn't I? The Galaxy of the Guardians. But
So,
those movies have some real serious, like, thought-provoking moments at times, actually. But the humor is so spot on, and both of them were extremely entertaining to watch.
right. So a couple of things. Yeah, no, Lono, he is in the original. So, Taika Waititi, and I think is what you pronounce his name, right? In the original movie or mockumentary of What We Do in the Shadows, he is one of the vampires. He is not one in the TV series. However, he plays one of the council that is like the council of vampires, right? But in the original mockumentary, he is one of the 4 vampires that is there. And Tom, if you have not seen What We Do in the Shadows, you are missing out. That show is
I've missed
amazing.
out then.
And
the
so
only the
Iowa
only
Waititi created this mockumentary about the life of these like 4 vampires in I think it was like Brooklyn or something, or not.
okay.
It was in I think upstate New York, and it's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, it's so good.
The
And
the only like TV type services that I actually own now is I own Netflix, so that if
right.
wrong button, so that if family is visiting, they can turn something on. And I own Crunchyroll because my daughter likes to watch anime, and that's it. I have nothing else TV
Oh
related.
man, you need to get like some Amazon Prime and all that kind of stuff. And I think
Oh, actually, I
the
have
problem is
Amazon
that,
Prime. I always forget that has a streaming service attached to it.
yeah, yeah, Amazon Video, right?
Yep.
And but I think it's on right now. It's on Hulu. Is the What We Do in the Shadows like TV show, right?
Hmm.
Series that they make. And so I watched the mockumentary and I loved it. Like it's so good. Like it's just kind of like this like what's a good way to describe it? It is a kind of like tongue in cheek comedy about the lives of these vampires, right?
Right.
And one of them is Nosferatu.
Oh,
He's
geez.
one of the vampires, and then you have these like 3 other vampires, are like your normal typical vampires, right?
Hmm.
And it's like a day in a life, right? And it's so good, it's so good. And then they created the TV show that deals with another 4 vampires that are not the original cast or whatever, right?
Okay.
And it's just so funny because they're still kind of like caught back in like when they were turned in the aspect of like who they were when they were turned, but they're also like the aspect of what they've gone throughout the centuries. And one of them in the TV show is from a country that doesn't exist anymore, and So it's just it's so good. But they're awkward, they're funny. It's hilarious. And I want to say they're all like British actors, British or not American actors, right? Except for the one guy who is he's a what do they call him? Not an not an emotional vampire, but he
Hmm.
like he like sucks life based upon like people's depression. So the
Okay.
sadder he can make people, that's what he feeds off of, right? Yeah. And he's this like awkward, like bald white man who wears glasses and very like kind of Urkel-ish type clothes, like tan pants and a white shirt. And he's
Right.
just very dull, right? And that's what he does. He walks in and takes any happy situation and makes it sad, and he feeds off of it. He's an emotional vampire. And it's so good. Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious.
And what I saw something ages ago that was somewhat similar, where basically, what was it? It wasn't what you're talking about, but basically, this person lived off of the same thing. Like, basically, what he would do is he'd go through and he'd like improve somebody's situation, like till they were like super happy, and then he would do something to ruin it, so they were like really, really depressed and sad, and then he would just suck up all that sadness from them. But yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
and
And to answer Anon's question, Spider-Man is Marvel. Yes.
I, but it's owned by Sony. Um,
Well, I mean, as far as the movies and stuff go, but based on like what the character
yeah,
came from, it is Marvel. Yes.
yeah. I was talking to my son about that the other day, and because um, Sony and Marvel have a weird. Uh, hey, Lauren, have like a weird kind of like contract of sharing with Spider-Man, and there's some talk that Sony's trying to possibly not allow the rights back to uh, Marvel in any way to use in future movies, because it's that's why Spider-Man's not in the Venom movie in any way. Because if they included Spider-Man with Venom, then Marvel would have the rights to use Venom in their movies as well. So,
Right. Exactly.
which is why the only time you see certain villains, like the new Spider-Man movie, the one where they have Tobey Maguire and all that kind of stuff, that's why those villains are in that suddenly, is because Sony gave them the allowance to use those characters. Well, now they have the allowance to use those villains. So there is the possibility that you'll see Doc Ock from the proper cinematic universe and all that kind of stuff show up now too, as long as
Hey,
Sony
Long.
continues to share the rights.
Well, and Sony got smart. They didn't just sell out automatically, right? They realized is that they could leverage these like super important characters, right?
Hmm.
Because they are important for the different phases coming forward for Marvel, right?
Oh
Because
yeah,
technically, Spider-Man, the way they have it now is he's part of the new Avengers,
yep.
right? So as these older Avengers like Iron Man and Captain America
Thor and
and
all that.
stuff like
Yeah,
it phase out, I don't know if Thor's going to phase out though. They have him under contract for another like 4 movies.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they really want to bring in Lady Thor, which is
Well, but the thing like the problem with Lady Thor is that if you've read the comics, and I haven't read them, but I read a synopsis of them, right? Is that
she dies.
what's her face gets cancer, right?
Yep, that's
Okay.
why she gets the powers. That's what keeps her
But he
alive.
gave her the power to stave off the cancer. The problem is though, the power is also enhanced the cancer.
Yep.
So when
So
she
anytime she
relinquishes the power
transforms,
of Thor,
it causes her cancer to push forward when
exacerbate.
she turns back. Yep. And that's uh
So
and that's actually what ended up killing her. Is she had a choice of either using her power one last time, or if she didn't use
or
it, she
not,
could live.
right?
Yeah. And she ended up using her
And
power so
the
that.
thing is, like the power of Thor, and that's one thing. So Ragnarok, and this is what I loved about Ragnarok, right? And I don't want to ruin. Do you care if I ruin this for you, Tom?
I'm not one of those people who really cares. I'll still watch something
Okay.
and enjoy it if I'm going to watch it.
So the thing is, what you find out in Ragnarok is that Hera, who is Thor's sister, that
Right.
was one before him, right, was locked down because she was just like this evil, tyrannical bitch. basically, right?
Mhm.
And she destroys Mjolnir.
Right.
Okay, so that's why Thor has to
Yeah,
create,
that's why he has to rebuild, make a new hammer in the movie.
Stormbreaker. Well,
Yep.
Stormbreaker, yeah, that's why he has to get Stormbreaker, right? But what his dad tells him is that the power has never come through the hammer. The hammer wasn't the source of his power. He's the source of the power. And the hammer was just a way to channel it,
Right.
right? So in doing so, he can give that power to others the same way that, like, Captain America was able to pick up his hammer and, Endgame, right?
Right.
And use it and all this kind of stuff. So, but the power comes from him. So it's not something that's going to, like, Thor's ever going to have, like, not have, right?
Yeah. Well, there's certain characters like they could really they like when Stormbreaker was made, the first thought I had was they're going to bring Beta Ray Bill around, which is like the alien Thor.
Yeah. Well, so
I,
if you go
wasn't he
to
hinted at one of
you
the end
watch
credits too?
if you watch Ragnarok, right? In the and I can't remember the chat can remind me where they were, like the planet that they were on. They got sent to, right?
Hmm.
In the tower, Beta Ray Bill was one of the faces as one of the champions, right?
Okay.
For the game master. And but Beta Ray Bill is the one that held, like, the Stormbreaker, right? That was
Yeah.
that was like his weapon, right? And so I don't know if they're going to actually, like, try to use him or bring him in, because he was already kind of seen as like a past tense character in Ragnarok.
Ah, okay. Yeah. They've had some interesting cameos in Galaxy of the or said it again, Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one when they go to nowhere to visit the collector.
Mm-hmm.
There is a golden retriever that they spotlight real quick. He is actually supposed to be.
Wait, say it again. Sorry, you cut out. I apologize.
That's fine. There's a golden retriever that they spotlight real quick, and I think he's in one of the display cases, but he's alive, and that's
Oh, you
actually
mean yeah,
yeah, Cosmo the
Cosmo, yeah,
astronaut dog, the Russian astronaut, right?
yeah.
And he in the comic books he actually runs nowhere, like that's his home base.
Wow.
And he
He
can
also had Howard the Duck in there, so I
yeah,
don't know. I mean,
yeah, I know, but it was just an interesting little cameo kind of deal. And I just think it's interesting because they also didn't show a proper nowhere, which now that they have Celestials, they could have. Nowhere is supposed to be the head of a Celestial.
oh, they showed it. They showed it in
Oh,
Guardians of the
I
Galaxy.
don't remember it then. I didn't remember it looking like a head for some reason.
Yeah, when it was described to them as the head of a Celestial that had died, because one of the things you don't understand, and a lot of people, if you haven't read the comics, is that there's actually a war going on between the Celestials, right?
Yep. And
It's the reason for the Eternals and what happened in the Eternals, right?
mhm.
Is this idea, and so like you say, you don't care if I ruin stuff. Or has anyone in the chat not seen the Eternals? Because I don't want to ruin stuff for anyone in the chat who has not seen Eternals. Because I'm about to straight up spoiler the shit out of it. So we'll see. But yeah. So there's this war between the Celestials.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why you have this head that's just floating out in fucking space, right?
Yeah. It's do you know
And
who they
being
think the
mined.
head might belong to?
No, who?
There's some talk that it actually might be the head of what was considered a god named Kur, Kur. And Kur
Okay.
was the god of the symbiotes, the venom symbiotes.
Hmm.
And he is said
I've
to
not
have
heard that. That's fucking
he is
interesting.
said to have been killed in a battle. And
It
so
was
there's
the
some
war.
thought,
There's a war between the Celestials. Yeah.
yeah, and there's some thought that actually might be the head of Kur because his head was supposed to have been removed and tossed off into space.
Huh. Interesting. All right. So I'm going to spoiler away, right? In the Eternals movie, one of the reasons why the what are they called? The oh, it's like the bad guys in the film.
Yeah,
I
the
can't remember the name of
deviants or whatever.
them. The Deviants, right? The reason the Deviants came back is because there is an Eternal that was being born out of the Earth, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
a lot of the storyline was because of the fact of all the snaps right? With that, because the Eternals are born based on the accumulation of cosmic energy, right?
Hmm.
So it takes billions of years for an Eternal to be born. However, because Thanos' snap and then the snap to bring everybody back, right, and all this kind of stuff back and forth, caused an emergence of this new Eternal.
Right.
And they want these new Eternals because of the war between the Eternal, not the Eternal, the Celestials, the new Celestials, sorry.
Yeah.
And the reason they want a new Celestial is because of this war between the Celestials that has been raging for, since the
Forever.
beginning of the universe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Isn't
And
Galactus
yeah,
supposed to be one of the Celestials too?
Galactus is not a Celestial. He is. I'm trying to
I
remember
know he's supposed to
exactly.
be like a
He's like a
singular
step
being.
below. Yeah, but he's a step below. He's a step below the Celestials, and I'm trying to think. Because it was the aspect of understanding who, like, Galactus, and then also Ego, right? How
Right.
Ego came to be, and so Galactus was. I want to say he was. So I want to say Galactus was kind of like the Silver Surfer. He was a leftover from the previous universe, and then when the cosmic, uh, occurrence happened that ended one universe and created another, it turned him into this, godlike being who had to consume planets in order to live, right?
Nerd
If I
says he was
remember.
created by Celestials, but he feeds on planets seeded by Eternals.
But there was something. I thought there was something else. I could have sworn that he was not created by the Celestials. I thought he was created by the great cosmic chasm that happened and turned into. Well,
He,
so according, well, it depends on who you look at, Lono, because according to certain comics, the Silver Surfer, yeah, was no, maybe it was Galactus. No, Galactus was the one. Yes, the Silver Surfer was created by Galactus. Yes, but Galactus was part of a planet that was trying to avoid the cosmic rift or whatever that was happening that destroyed their universe, created ours. And he was the only one to survive or something. I mean, maybe that was Ego. I'm trying to remember. It's hard. There's so many different lines out there.
yeah, there's so many different gods and stuff like that in Marvel.
Well, in the because the funny thing is there is the God above all, right?
Yep. The
Okay. There is
he
the
looks
Christian. No. There is there is a character in the Marvel universe that is called the God above all, and that
yeah.
is kind of like the Judeo-Christian God,
Doesn't
and
he
there is
look
no
like
name
there's like
for
a
it.
universe inside of him or something like that?
No, I think he's only come in like a couple of times. He's only no, I agree. Yeah, Nerd Angle. Yeah, Silver Surfer is Galactus' herald. For a while, the first one is it changes. Excuse
Yeah,
me,
Beta
but
Ray Bill became one of his heralds for a while, actually.
yeah, he was the last survivor of another universe, and then it changed him like the cosmic chasm or whatever changed him into this thing that had to absorb, the worlds in order to survive. So literally, Galactus is a amoral character because he's only absorbing things to survive, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and so
And he's also supposed to be like a singular point now. Like there's no other Galactus, but he is in every different version of the Marvel Universe. There's one of him everywhere.
yes, and
Night Anon.
but then oh yeah, good night, on. Oh, good night. But yeah, so it's yeah, it's kind of crazy to kind of keep up with the level of deity, right? And then
Mhm.
you have, like I said, like you have the one above all, who is the over celestials, over everything else,
Yeah.
is the basically the omniscient, omni being, omnipresent being that I think surfaced like two times in the Marvel universe, but exists, right? And it's basically the representation of the Judeo-Christian God.
What was I say? The Marvel Universe does get very confusing even without gods because there is because of the way it works, of course, Marvel doesn't own them anymore, but Transformers is somewhere in one of the Marvel universes. You've
Yeah.
got in another Marvel in the Marvel universe, Ash Williams from Evil Dead is also a thing. Like
Wow.
he's actually part of what caused these Marvel zombies to occur.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
Because of
they
his like misreading of the fucking Necronomicon.
kind of. Basically, what happens is Ash died,
Okay.
and he ends up in heaven. And while he's there, a version of the Sentry, who is a carrier for the zombie plague,
Mm-hmm.
shows up in heaven too and starts killing all the angels and stuff like that. And Ash somehow like decides he thinks it's a deadite, and so they get into a fight, and somehow it causes this version of the Sentry to crash down into Earth, whatever, version whatever, where the zombie plague starts off. And the Sentry, bites this guy, bites that guy, all that kind of stuff, and Ash is there for a lot of it, at least a version of Ash, because you end up running to another Ash who lives in that world. So you have the Ash who's like the actual Necronomicon, badass kind of deal, and then you run to Ash Williams from that version, the zombie universe, and he gets eaten by Howard the Duck.
Oh
But
wow.
but yeah, so Ash caused Sentry to crash into the crash out of heaven and all that kind of stuff, and he ends up going down with him. Yep, G.I. Joe was Marvel too. G.I. Joe fought the Transformers at some point in Marvel at one point. But what ends up happening is it ends up being a whole huge circle that causes the Sentry causes the infection and all this kind of stuff, and somehow they transport the Sentry away from the planet to get rid of the infection. And there's some weird thing that happens with the transport, and it's actually what causes Sentry to transport to heaven. And actually,
Oh wow.
that's a weird time loop thing that happens there. But I don't know if he's still in the regular Marvel universe, the 616 universe, but the zombie Deadpool ended up in the 616 universe, and they had a whole crossover event that happened.
That's a problem. Is the multiverse. I love Marvel,
Crossovers and yeah.
the crossovers and the multiverse bullshit. Right? Is it drives me crazy.
Well, they used this crossover event to try and bring back Howard the Duck and the Machine Man,
That's
who
crazy. Yeah.
who are working for Armor, which is you have swords, shield, and armor, and and Armor deals with the like extra dimensional bullshit, right?
So yeah, now you're getting into stuff that like I'm not too familiar with. So I did not grow up reading comic books, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of this stuff I've had to learn since like the movies and stuff came out, and have gone into like Emergency Awesome. I think it was one of the channels I watch, and a couple others that give you like the background on these things, because I did not have.
A lot of the Marvel zombie stuff that I know of is because I was collecting those when I was collecting like Walking Dead comics at the same time.
And I was never a comic kid. Like the only comic I ever bought ever in my entire life was The Death of Superman.
I have Spider-Man. My mom got it for me for my birthday, actually, I think. Spider-Man #1. When they first introduced Ben Reilly as Spider-Man kind of deal. Or no, when they reintroduced the Green Goblin.
I had no clue who that is. Yeah.
Basically, Marvel jumped the shark and did the Clone Wars kind of deal, but with just Spider-Man.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, but no, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm learning all this stuff. Like, I'm. So when I was growing up, right? And I mean, Tom, you and I are the same age. So
yeah,
when we were growing up, right? A nerd was what I was, right? Like, I was like a sports nerd to an extent. And what I mean is that I played football, ran track, lifted weights, all this kind of fun stuff. but I was a nerd because I read like, in my free time I was reading like science books and things about STEM stuff, right?
Right.
I never got into the actual like comic books and like D&D and all this kind of stuff until later on in life. And so the geeks that we had were the ones that were like, big into Marvel, big into like D&D and all this kind of stuff. And the nerds and the geeks kind of like interacted, but I was never one of those that interacted on that level. Like I think I went to one like D&D match, right? Because I have friends who were like in my calculus class and stuff like that who were, part of that. And so I tried to like get into it. And so this whole idea, like the comic aspect, like I mean, I watched like, the X-Men cartoons and stuff. Never really was a big like comic book person. So I'm getting caught up, literally spending my entire time getting caught up on who all these people are since like probably 2014, right?
Right. Yeah,
So
I haven't followed comic books in a long time. Hey GPK, hey Uni, Rach.
I'm not a robot. Stop telling people that.
Like
Hey, Dad.
I kind of dropped off on collecting comics and all that kind of stuff just because you kind of run out of time. So what ends up happening is like same thing. Like there will be something I get interested in, like the Marvel zombie stuff, right? And I'm like, well, I don't understand what's going on here. What's all this, kind of stuff? And
I'm watching The Witcher. Don't get me wrong. Sorry.
sorry, nerd. Shame on me.
Oh,
Shame
I tell
on
people
me.
like my hair is going white right now. Like I'm almost 40, and my hair is going white. I just tell people I'm becoming a Witcher, so don't
Well,
worry about it.
my hair is sitting on top, but you can see my beard is all going gray. So that should give you an idea what's happening on the side of my head.
Mine's skipping gray and going straight to white, so I am definitely becoming a Witcher. Yes.
I'm becoming a silver face.
Well, I would like to grow my beard out again, but until I retire, I
Well, you're
can't.
not allowed, sir. So,
Right, exactly.
but yeah. So, like, I had my best friend growing up. One of the um, one of the guys that I'm still really close to. Like, we don't get to hang out as much.
Mhm.
Partially, we live, a good hour's distance from one another, and he is very much against social interaction right now with any COVID stuff whenever it flares up. And I don't blame him. He's, got some health issues and, you
Yeah.
know, kind of deal.
No, I
So
get that. Yeah, I
right.
understand. Yeah.
And so, but he's always been like, he was real big into comics, even when I stopped. So we would talk about it a lot. So I have that,
Awesome.
and his son is real big into comics now. So, he has a board game that I want to sit down and play with him. He's uh, collected this Kickstarter campaign for like a Marvel like board game of some sort, and it looks really cool. Like he was showing me it the last time we talked. I was like, "Oh, that would be fun to play." He's like, "Yeah, we gotta all hang out and get together with the people that we managed to get together with maybe once a month if we're lucky."
Yeah, exactly. So is it a Marvel? So it hasn't come out yet.
No, it can't. It was released. Apparently, like, but he got in trouble with his wife for the amount of money he spent on the Kickstarter to get like all the big like collectible stuff for it, kind of
All
deal.
right. Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I don't blame you. I probably would have been in trouble with Jay too if I knew about this one.
I'm guessing like it was probably like a couple $100 that you
About
spent on this Kickstarter.
150 for what he ended up getting.
Nah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Oh, and I think he would have been in big trouble if it wasn't for the fact that he does play it as often as he can.
Nerding off that Navy, I went out because every weekend I go to the local comic shop game store with the wife, and I bought The Death of Superman, still in the plastic with the bleeding S on it. Wow. Yeah. I was I was like a fucking Walmart when I was a kid, I guess, and bought it. Um, yeah. So
a
it,
lot of
I don't know, something about it struck me. I had to have.
a lot of the comic books that I actually own were from there used to be a comic book shop not too far from my grandparents in Royal Oak. And they sold books and they sold comic books. And my mom used to go there to buy used books. And I would save up all my quarters and all that kind of stuff. And if I had $3, I could buy 3 comic books because they had sold 3 for 3.
Nice.
So that's where a lot of my like weird comic books came from. I have not seen the trailer for it yet, but I have seen the Lego sets for it.
I've seen the trailer for it, and honestly, I tell you the truth, like I'm not a fan of fucking Twilight, right? But Robert Pattinson as an actor,
he's a good
I've
actor.
seen some of the other stuff he's in. He's actually a really good actor.
Yeah,
right?
He is.
And so I'm interested to see how this plays out because I've only seen like I think one trailer, and he plays like a darker like. So the thing is, like, the one thing I love that DC has done, right, has made Batman darker, right? Because you look at the Tim Burton aspect and all this kind of stuff, and don't get me wrong, I grew up on Tim Burton, right? Edward Scissorhands, the original Batman, Michael Keaton, all this kind of stuff, right? But the fact that they're trying to get back to the original story of what Batman was, right? This dark character.
Well, the Tim Burton Batmans were definitely based more on the time when Joker was the clown prince of crime, and it was more, Silver Age comics kind of deal,
Yes, yeah, and well, I mean, and they were dealing with the WB and trying to make something that you could take your kids to and all that kind of stuff, right? So when the aspect of the newer Batman came across, even fucking what's his face's Batman was not the darkest.
No,
the aspect of what like Ben Affleck was, honestly, I will, and people may hate me for this, I enjoyed Ben Affleck's Batman. Like he was the dark Batman, even though he's considered to be like the older version of Batman, like the later, after the Joker killed like 2 of his fucking Robins and all this kind of stuff. Batman, that aspect of the Batman who was willing to like brand people and all this kind of stuff because he knew it was going to happen to him in prison. I like that.
I had no problem with that aspect of like Batman branding them kind of deal because Batman who's gone through rough and tumble would probably do something like that, get them beat up, all that kind of stuff, and wouldn't have an issue with it. I still like, it's weird because I know they're going for like the Frank Miller era Batman, right? That, like you said, that dark, gritty Batman.
Frank Miller was bringing back the original Batman because you guys and look at the original comics, the original Batman comics. He was the anti-hero, right?
Yeah. In the very first Batman comics, people always talk about Batman never used a gun. Batman used to shoot people in the original comics, like when he first in Detective Comics.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like they're going back. So Frank Miller is just he's reinvestigating the original aspect of the dark Batman, right?
Well,
getting away from like the 1960s with what's his face? The guy from Family that's in Family Guy now, but that was the original Adam West, right? The Adam West Batman is like kind of congenial Superman type Batman, right? And getting back into like what would actually happen if you were a
tough as nails vigilante.
Yes, exactly. Yes, and they had unlimited resources at his hand, right?
Yeah, he was DC's Punisher.
Now, I agree 100%. Yes, that is the best way to describe it.
Now to talk about the movie that Rachel brought up, right? I have seen pictures of some of the costumes for the characters, and I have to admit, Catwoman's costume looks really cool. I like the fact that she looks more burglary kind of deal. And
I haven't seen it yet. I like that as far as like the Catwoman.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but there's only one Catwoman for me.
Which one? Halle Berry?
No, fuck. Oh God, no. Oh God. Oh yeah. No,
I did not like that version of Catwoman.
Michelle Pfeiffer is my Catwoman. She will always. I had a poster of her hanging up in my room. She's the only Catwoman. I'm sorry.
That was probably one of the like from what I've seen, Catwoman wise on live action stuff, she was one of the sexiest and most dangerous Catwomen's that I've seen.
It was perfect. It was
Yeah.
fucking perfect with her, right? She had this fucking like allure, and
Yeah.
the way she talked and all this kind of stuff. She didn't have to have a suit where you saw 99% of her skin, right? With Halle
No.
Berry. The problem was, I think, honestly, I tell you the truth, they did a disservice to Halle Berry because Halle Berry could have been a Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
But they decided to go with this fucking, like, Victoria's Secret fucking version of fucking Catwoman. And Halle Berry's a sexy woman, right? Like, nothing against her, right?
Yeah. Sorry,
But
I saw
they
Nerd's comment
chose,
about willing to work with any woman in leather.
right? Mm.
Yeah. No,
But
they
the
definitely
way
did
they
a
developed that
disservice
story, yes.
to Halle Burton because, hey, CJ, she played Storm in the original X-Men movies, and
Yep.
I
She
love
did.
that. Those
She did a
original
really
X-Men.
good job.
Yeah.
She has like back and forth. She has some acting chops. The problem is that they put her in a position where her sexuality is more important than her acting ability. She
Mm-hmm.
sucks. Like Swordfish. I
Yeah.
fucking hated her in Swordfish.
Yeah.
That was like fuck off.
I
Right?
hate. She's a beautiful woman, even now, right?
No, she's gorgeous. Yeah. No,
And
100%.
I agree that a lot of times they want to be like, oh, look at this woman power, because Halle Burton usually usually
Halle
talked.
Berry. Halle Berry.
Fuck. Halle Berry is usually talked about as
Hillary Burton is a different actress and she's white.
I was mixing up Tim Burton and Halle Berry. Leave me alone. She's talked about as being a powerful woman, all kind of stuff, and so they like to try and, look, we got her in this role and she's playing this really strong woman, all this kind of stuff, and then they, instead of just letting her play this strong role that has,
Yes.
because Catwoman is a sexy woman kind of deal, right?
But she's like this aspect of the woman empowerment. It's like
But they want to they
yes.
they play up that sexy empowered woman thing the wrong way.
Yes.
A lot of times with her, instead of being okay, yeah, she's gorgeous, all this kind of stuff, and that's part of what she uses as her
allure,
right? And her I'm hitting the wrong goddamn button.
But if you go back to like listening to Michelle Pfeiffer talking, the way she talked, right? She could have been dressed in a fucking like, I don't know,
potato sack.
Potato sack, yes. And the way she spoke, you're just like, yeah, okay, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she came across also as dangerous as all get out too. And it wasn't just,
you knew talking to her that you're like, she's about to fuck with you, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and you wanted her to
literally, literally has you in her grasp, and going into it, there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, she has you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But the
Halle Berry aspect was just this aspect of like, I want to physically attract you, right?
Yeah.
And it lost all the power because I agree with you. The aspect of what like Michelle Pfeiffer had was this, like, she could talk you into doing anything that she wanted you to do, right?
Yeah, it wasn't just about sex appeal for her.
Oh God, yeah. And don't get me wrong, like the leather suit was amazing, but go back and listen to the lines. You're like, yeah, no, I'm good.
Well,
I'm good. Yeah, whatever you want. Yeah, just kill me. It's fine.
All right, nerd. We'll work on that for you.
Oh, executive decision. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But
don't get me wrong. I'm telling you, like, Halle Berry is a gorgeous woman. She's actually a really great actress when giving the proper role, right?
Yes.
She is a very, very well done. But the problem is when they put her in roles where the aspect, like with her and James Bond or fucking Swordfish, right? It wasn't about her being a good actress. It was about her showing her tits, right? Or walking around in a bathing suit, right? Yeah. You've destroyed her fucking acting ability. the thing about Michelle Pfeiffer is that even the aspect of the suit, right? The whole sequence of watching her having, making this suit as this fucking newly, resurrected woman, right? The
It
whole
was
aspect
very
of making this suit, right,
yeah, it
was
was very
very
very much
interesting.
show don't tell.
And Tim Burton is a genius when it comes to that, right? There's this aspect of the visual understanding. Okay. And while his movies may be kind of like campy to the aspect of being overly done,
Mm-hmm.
the aspect of her after she gets resurrected by the cats and her going and making this suit is that you get tied to her psyche plus this suit, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just her walking out in some skimpy fucking clothing. It's that she has this goal of making this suit for a certain reason, right?
Right.
And then you have the voice behind that. I'm sorry, but Michelle Pfeiffer's voice is one of the sexiest voices I've ever heard. And Halle Berry's is not.
No. She.
No.
But
Like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Pfeiffer has that nice, smoky, deep,
this calming voice that will get you to
Yeah.
do whatever she wants, right?
What was it? It's like smoked honey. There you go. That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah. Oh God, it was fucking amazing. Like she could, just the way she said things. She was like, "Yeah, no, yeah, whatever."
You need me to go kill the Batman? No problem.
Yeah, no. Stab myself in the face. Good deal. Let's do it. And Halle Berry, her voice, honestly, her voice actually annoys me when I hear her talk. Yeah,
For me, it depends on her role. Like I said, Storm, I really liked her playing Storm. It just
because
kind of fit.
she played the character well based on the association with the show, right?
Yeah.
Like the cartoon. Okay. So yes, she was the correct incarnation based on the cartoon.
For what they were aiming
right?
for, yep.
But her voice, period, it doesn't inspire me to do anything. Whereas Michelle Pfeiffer, if she came up to me in a Catwoman voice and was like, "I need you to kill this person," I'm like, "Sure, okay, yeah."
Do I need to get you Bond too?
So
Nerd. So, seeing we're talking about 90s films, Sandra Bullock in Speed, never been more attracted to a woman just driving a bus.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, so kind of reining back to the topic a little bit from where we ended up going from. But yeah, the new costume for Catwoman looks pretty cool. She looks pretty good. It looks believable for like a cat burglar kind of deal who can fuck some shit.
And I kind of I like the aspect in the last was it the last it was a Dark Knight.
Yeah.
What was it? Yeah, right.
I did not like that Catwoman at all.
I know what I was saying is I enjoyed the way that they used her accessories to turn her into Catwoman. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like I can't remember who it was the actress. I enjoy her. She had the spunk of fucking Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Right.
But she didn't have the smokiness. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I did not find that character to work for me. I liked the whole oh look, it's Catwoman and she had her goggles up and they look like cat ears. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool, right?
I think it worked. It played into the character, I think, well, right?
Right. I don't know. I didn't really like that Catwoman too much. But then again, that was the out of that trilogy of movies for the Batman that I didn't really enjoy the greatest.
Did you ever watch the College Humor? Did a Bad Man where he was trying to pick his voice?
No.
Oh, I will. I'll DM it to you probably tomorrow in Discord. But yeah. This whole thing where he's holding a bad guy up by his heels or whatever. And he's trying to pick what voice he's going to use. And he's and they're like, oh no, that one. And he's like, okay, with this one. And it's hilarious because it was based upon making fun of what's the guy's name that played the most recent Batman? Not Ben Affleck, but the one before.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. The I'm Batman guy.
Yeah, exactly. It was a play on that, right?
Right.
And it was fucking hilarious. It was so hilarious.
Benedict Cumberbatch. But yeah, so I was gonna jump from the Catwoman costume to the way the Riddler looks in the new Batman movie that's coming out.
Okay, so tell me about this. I haven't seen this yet.
So I understand what it seems like they're going for, and it works if this is like
Christian Bale, yeah. Sorry, Christian Bale, yes.
It works
Christian
for me
Bale.
if they're really working on this is Batman and kind of facing his first group of like these guys kind of deal for the first time, right?
Okay.
But if this is supposed to be like the Riddler set in his ways and all that kind of stuff, he looks like a homeless guy, in my opinion, right? He's got this big kind of like dark foresty green jacket on, all this kind of stuff, and he's wearing a ski mask from the things I've seen, and it doesn't work for me. He looks more like I don't remember. But
honestly, I tell you the truth, I will, and I'm not a huge fan of Jim Carrey,
right?
And his certain personal beliefs on certain things. However, I do believe that if you can in the scheme of things, Jim Carrey was the best Riddler. Like
that was the Riddler. She's like, was that him? Holy cow!
Oh yeah. No, Jim Carrey was the best Riddler. Like that would. I don't like the way they dressed him. I don't like the way that they made this cartoonish aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But his persona of the Riddler.
Yep. I liked Jim Carrey's version of the Riddler. Like I said, the costume is kind of it definitely
cartoonish. It was
they were definitely
because of the times and all this kind of stuff. If they had done him better, like the Riddler is someone who is like literally insane, right? And almost like Scarecrow is literally insane, but he's not as serious, right?
Right.
And so Jim Carrey's version of it, in my opinion, was one of the best interpretations of, because if you go back and look at the 1960s version of the Riddler, it was the same way, right?
Yeah.
And he took that and he embodied that, because that is, this is the guy who is about riddles and jokes.
Yeah, Richard Enigma. It's his name.
Exactly, right? So anything more serious makes it just another bad guy. But the Riddler was supposed to be this joyful, crazy person, whereas you had the crazy person with the Joker, but the Joker was a more serious crazy.
Yeah.
Whereas the Riddler was I'm literally just having fun crazy.
Well, it sounds weird because the Joker is if you ran into somebody like the Joker in real life, that's a very scary individual. He's going to kill you just because he thinks he can make some kind of joke out of it or whatever, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. He's going to kill you with a riddle, right?
But the one who scares me the most would have been the Riddler would have been the scary out of it. If you say, hey, you're running into the Joker or Riddler, I'd rather run into the fucking Joker. Chances are, yeah, he might kill me, but I might not die. The Riddler will fucking kill me because I can't answer a question.
Man, I want to answer. So dead. Sorry.
Fine.
I have been watching the Titans, and the Scarecrow that they have in the Titans is, I agree. It was done really well. The Titans is the show it's on HBO Max, I think.
Yeah, right now, it's a darker, Teen Titans kind of deal.
It's actually really well done. I think it was really well done, right?
Right.
And it's a good show to watch. And the Scarecrow on there, especially what happens to him in the last season, is really well done. He plays it very well, but that's because he's a more, like I said, the Scarecrow is one of those guys who's kind of he's crazy, but he's serious about certain things. The Joker is serious about certain things, but he does it in a more maniacal manner.
Yeah.
And then you have the Riddler, who is just fucking crazy and enjoys fucking with people. Right?
Yeah. The Scarecrow is actually a very interesting character too.
Oh, of course.
I don't know if they've talked about it in Titans, but I know like one of his one of the things that they kind of talk about in the comics. I only know about this because I saw that there was like all these different colored lanterns at one point. When I used to play, my son and I used to play the DC online RPG game thing they had for a while, the MMORPG they had. We used to play that together. And so like you could have like a blue lantern and shit like that at one point. I was like, what? So I looked up all the information about that. And apparently what happens is, Scarecrow's all about fear. He's very interested in how it affects people and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what prompts him to do what he does. Yeah, he's a villain about it, but it's his driving factors. What is fear? How does it affect people? And it kind of went crazy over.
How do you control people? Yeah, exactly.
And what happens in the comics apparently is his constant exposure to his own fear toxin has made him unable to experience fear.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so, like he gets, I can't remember what ring he got, but let him experience fear again.
Oh, one of the rings from like the
like many lantern colors, yeah. And so that, of course, he ends up losing it, but that's part of what drives him crazy, like real crazy in the comics, is the fact that he can no longer experience fear. So he can no longer experience the thing that he's so obsessed with it already, you know?
And I have to say something right now. CJ, Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy is probably my favorite Poison Ivy ever. Yes. She was close to my, Michelle Pfeiffer aspect of Catwoman, right?
Right.
The way she spoke was just, oh yes, okay, yeah. Now I want to do what you say. Like, you don't have to blow dust in my face. Like I'm here for you, woman. It's fine.
I don't know. I'll take that kiss.
Oh no, I'll take it too. But I'm saying, like, I was already there. Like, you don't have to do any extra. But yeah, no, I will. Uma Thurman is just a gorgeous woman to begin with, like Michelle Pfeiffer, and they have this like way they walk, right? And but what they allowed to happen was they allowed them to act.
Yes.
That's what I don't like about Halle Berry and the certain things that they put her in. They don't allow her to act.
Another actress that I really like, that I was attracted to, especially, like, she's still an attractive woman, but Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. No, I see that.
And apparently she's she's someone that for some reason always ends up popping up in my my Twitter feed as like, you might be interested in Jamie Lee Curtis. I'm like, Twitter, how do you know? But but no, from everything I've ever heard though, she's like a really, really interesting and cool person outside of like in her private life too. Like, I've never heard anything wrong about this lady. But I'm just thinking about
when you're the daughter of Tony Curtis, right?
So apparently she went to the premiere of one of the new Halloween movies dressed up as her mom from Carrie.
Oh wow, yeah.
But she does like shit like that.
You're literally the progeny of two of the most famous actor and actresses in all of Hollywood, right? Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
My high school crush, my high school celeb crush, Jesus Christ.
Who?
Nerd asked me my high school. No, I. You know what? Honestly, probably Pamela Anderson, because she was on Baywatch, and I watched that show all the fucking time in high school.
Kathy Allen, like, hands down, high school crush, yeah. Cindy Crawford. I mean, like, literally, we grew up in the age of where there was the yellow swimsuit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the age, right?
Right.
So you had like Cindy Crawford, you had Kathy Ireland, you had Pamela Anderson.
Baywatch. What was that movie, Dangerous Things or whatever, where that girl comes out of the pool?
Oh, you're talking about? Oh God, what is her name?
I don't remember.
I don't either, but I see her obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, she played Christmas, like Dr. Christmas in fucking a Bond movie.
Oh, that's
Um,
right.
hmm
You know who else? Pamela Anderson. She did the voice for Stripperella, which was
Yep.
a
Yeah. It was based on her.
yep. It was Stanley made a superhero for HBO, and that was a superhero.
You know,
Stripperella.
CJ, I'm an Angelina Jolie fan when she wants to put fucking weight on. When she's like super skinny, no, not good, not good. Her Laura Croft, yes, 100%. I am in
Those.
love with Angelina Jolie. Fucking what was it, Wanted or whatever she did, and she was like super skinny. Fuck off. Nope, nope, not gonna do it.
You know, I actually enjoyed those Laura Croft movies, the Tomb Raider movies, as like
I
fun
did
movies
too.
to watch.
Yeah. You know, my first crush though, Susanna Hoffs.
I have no idea who that is off the top of my head.
You will when I tell you that she was part of the Bengals
Okay.
and sang "Walk Like an Egyptian."
Yep. You know
Yeah.
who you know who probably was one of my first crushes was the ginger girl off of Gilligan's Island. The one that's supposed to be the movie
Mary?
star.
Yeah, the movie star. Yeah, I think the name was Mary, right? It was
I don't
Mary.
remember for the life of me. I always just know her as the movie star in my head, but
Yeah.
like I
Oh,
used to
don't forget Gia, CJ. It's Gia. Yeah. Oh, Asia Argento. Yeah, no. I saw her the first time in what was it? The fucking um the Assassin movie. Um Agent whatever, right? What's it called?
Agent Smith? No,
No, what was it called?
I
Yeah,
actually know what you're
tell me
talking
what the
about, but
movie
I
was.
can't remember.
Yeah, the guy with the barcode on the back of his head.
Yeah, those were actually fun games, nerd. I agree.
Yes, they
But
are. They were a lot of fun games.
you
Yeah.
know, Lauren, Mila is not my favorite actress. Like she ended up, I hate to say this, like she and her husband killed the fucking Resident Evil movies for me. I love those movies. They're really terrible fucking movies though. And
Mila's
it's
gorgeous, but she's just a little bit too skinny for me.
yeah,
Right.
she's not. I honestly she's pretty, but she's not attractive. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it was Agent 20 Hitman. Yeah, Hitman. Yeah. Well, yeah, no, it did. I know she was in Triple X with Vin Diesel, but the one where she got, declothed was Hit. So Demi Moore, like, oh man, I'm like hit or miss with her, CJ. She's very sexy, don't get me wrong. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. But I'm sorry, but my crush of like all time. I have one crush for all time, right? Is Heidi Klum. Hands down.
Oh yes.
I love her accent, I love the way she talks, I love the way she acts, and the way she looks. She is just my yes, everything. Yes. I love Heidi Klum. She is just amazing.
Well, just
Denise Richards. That's who it was. Nerd Angle had it.
there. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah. But Heidi Klum, I mean, to this day, is just a gorgeous woman.
Well, I've always had a thing for foreign accents. Part of what I found very attractive about my wife was her accent, which is why I
Well,
used
I'm
to.
also a linguist, so yes, I understand this. I get this foreign accent understanding. Yes, I do. I do understand that. Yes.
Nerd, all-time fan. Sandra Bullock. I like bus drivers.
Right. I'm just saying, like, like Heidi Klum's my girl. Like she's my girl. I'm saying, you know.
But yeah.
Mm. Yeah. No. Anyway, back to Marvel. No.
Now that we're all done drooling.
Well, you know, I mean, it fucking happens from time to time. So,
Oh man.
no, Dad, I agree with you. Like, she was smoking hot in Triple X with Vin Diesel, but in Hitman, she got naked. So I'm just saying.
That is why, even though she didn't get naked in it, one of my favorite movies is that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Amy Lee Curtis, where she ends up stripping for him.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about what was it called?
I don't
She
remember
got
for the life
close
of me.
to though.
Oh,
So
that,
he's the fucking secret agent. Yeah.
yeah, and you know, there's a fucking the F-14 jet and shit like that, and
Fuck, what was it called?
True Lies.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you, Rach.
True Lies. Yeah, there you go. True Lies. Yep. Nerdingle says if Val Kilmer's Doc Holliday could offer me $20 and I'd consider it. Yeah, CJ makes fun of me because he wants me to get to say, you know, one of the phrases about being his huckleberry, and apparently I can't get it right to save my life. So
I don't know that line, so you're safe from here.
in the movie, he was looking at one of the guys, right, and he's like, "I'm your huckleberry," right? And the thing was, a huckleberry, it wasn't the actual term. It was a derivation of a hucklebearer, which is a person who is a what the fuck, people that carry the coffin, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so I'm your huckleberry was like, I'm willing to put you in the ground, right?
Yeah.
And it was actually came from what do they call the guys? The fucking
Pallbearer.
pallbearer, right? So a hucklebearer was a pallbearer, and then he made a version of it saying, I'm your huckleberry, right? Meaning that I will put you in the ground and I'll carry your coffin to the dirt. So say when.
Yeah. You know what is actually a really fun, terrible movie is the last Lone Ranger movie that came out.
The one with fucking what's his face? Keanu. No,
it wasn't Keanu. It was
the other guy.
Oh shit.
Oh, god damn it!
Wasn't Brendan Fraser, and that's the guy. That's the only actor that I can ever think of.
Oh, it was Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Lauren T. Put it out there. Johnny Depp. Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Depp played the fucking Indian, which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Right.
That movie would not fly now, but that movie was.
I never even watched it. Was it any good?
I think it's an enjoyable movie to watch, and I wish they had made more of them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Right. But I can see why they didn't. It's not like you got to watch this movie, but it's one of those, you have some time and you want something a little silly to watch. It's fun to watch, especially if you like a lot of my TV history and all that kind of stuff was me spending time with my grandfather. You know, my mom, I've mentioned it before, but my mom and I, get along really well now. But when I was younger, my mom was a terrible drunk. And so as often as I could to get away from, not fun living area, I spent time with my grandparents. And so I grew up watching the old Green Hornet and Lone Ranger and stuff like that. So when I saw the Lone Ranger movie, and it's definitely more comedic, but it fits the original bill of the show for me really well, as compared to Seth Rogen and his Green Hornet, which I hate that fucking movie.
That was horrible. It was a straight up trash.
It was. They took what could have some comedy into it, but it was like an action show. It was a serious action show, and they turned it into a goddamn fucking comedy, and not even a good one. Yeah,
exactly. No, I agree. Yep, it was fucking horrible.
But so a lot.
Seth Rogen is only funny at certain things, and You know, if he tries to do anything serious, it's not even close.
But so like a lot of the stuff that the Phantom was a movie that I
I
enjoyed.
I enjoyed the Phantom too. Yeah, and it was kind of like, you go back and watch it now. It was a movie made, what was it, like early '90s, I
Yeah.
think,
Yep.
right? So, but it was one of the films I enjoy watching. Like, it was just something I'll enjoy it. Nowadays, if you show it to somebody, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is fucking campy," right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
I love it. Or like The Shadow. Did
oh
you ever watch The Shadow?
yes.
Right?
Yes.
With Alec Baldwin.
Yep. What
You
darkness
know,
lurks in the hearts of men? The
exactly.
shadow
It was based upon
knows.
a radio show,
Hmm.
and it was good back when we were younger. And nowadays, it's
Yes.
all campy. And of course, Alec Baldwin's a fucking murderer, so whatever. But
Well, another nerd brought it up. Another good movie, like even most of the ones for it, really campy but really fun to watch, is the Mummy series.
yeah, no, they are like Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser has been a favorite actor of mine for a long time, right? Even like George of the Jungle, The Mummy,
Hmm.
even now that he's on what's the name of the show he's on now? It's fucking Doom Patrol. He's on
Anytime,
Doom Patrol.
right? Yeah. Well, he's actually a
Thanks
really
for the
really good
memories.
actor,
He is a really good actor. He's fucking funny, you know?
and
And
uh, and I was really I felt for him when he was going through all those issues he was going through. I was when he ended up
that
uh,
rage.
almost like committing suicide recently. Well, not recently, but you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
recent history. But he is like he's he I don't know, like almost any movie that he's come out in, I've gone to watch. And he's the whole reason why I almost got, I think, what, Doom Patrol's on what, HBO?
Hmm?
I almost ordered HBO just to watch that show because he's in it, you
I'm
know?
telling you, like, he is hilarious. I got lucky because of my like internet service. I get HBO Max for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also because of my phone service. So I would like, inherently, but
Yeah.
um, yeah, no, he is fucking funny. And the thing is, he doesn't have to be like good guy character all the time. He can cuss and do things. It is so funny listening to him, but he just like lights it up.
Yeah, and like I
Well,
said,
he's not fat anymore though, Lono. Like that was a thing for a while, but he lost weight. Like
yeah.
yeah.
So I don't watch him too often anymore. But Nerd, if you've ever watched um The Completionist, he used to, I don't know if he still does, but he used to stream when he was playing his games, kind of like what I'm doing here. And he quotes that line quite a lot because apparently The Mummy is one of his favorite movies. And so every now and then he'll just yell, "Betty, look who's on the wrong side of the," kind of like, he does it really well, but I don't. But
That's funny.
yeah, yeah, he went through a really bad spot, and
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
the back injury was actually made worse when he was doing The Mummy, due to some of the stunts that he was doing.
that's crazy.
But but yeah, I really felt for him because um he was like, I'm not one of those people who wants to meet famous people, right? If I've run into him, which I've had the opportunity to do a few times, due to some of the circles my wife's mother runs in. Um
Right.
it's just like, okay, cool. I try to treat them as regular people, all that kind of stuff, because that's really what they are. Brendan Fraser is probably going to be one of the few people, if I run into him, it'd be one of those starstruck moments, like, oh, it's Brendan Fraser, like, I need your autograph, kind of deal. Like,
I think who would I run into that would be that person, right? I don't know.
like
As they get older, it changes. Right?
yeah, yeah. So I used to work in the city of Birmingham here in Michigan, and Birmingham is old money city, right?
Right.
And when sports teams and such come to Detroit to play, they stay at the Marriott. I think is it the Marriott or one of those fancy hotels? I always want to call it the Marriott, but there's a really fancy motel in what's the hotel chain that Paris Hilton's parents own?
Hilton.
The Hilton. Thank you. So there's a really fancy Hilton.
It's like Paris Hilton.
Shut up.
I'm just saying, Tom. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. Look, but there's a really fancy Hilton and all that kind of stuff. And I used to take Jay there for brunches sometimes because they have a really decent. They would have a really decent brunch that wasn't like overly expensive. But anyway, so the sports team stays a lot of times in the Hilton. So like, at the time I was working at a bagel shop early in the morning, and then I'd go and I'd work at the YMCA at night, and then go to school during the afternoon. And because of that, I got to run into like a lot of the sports stars, like some of the Detroit Pistons would come through, or Detroit Red Wings and stuff like that, and or like the opposing teams. Like I met Shaq once because of that. And it's always the same thing. Like it'd be like, okay, cool, they're here for breakfast just like everybody else. And you'd have to like kind of coach the people who are working with you, like, hey, like, don't be asking for their autograph while you're giving their goddamn bagel. They're here for breakfast. Let them have breakfast. Right? And like I said, if Brendan Fraser walked in, I'd have to be like, I gotta clock out for 1 minute here. Like, hey, BCP.
He said stopping to say hi. Even thought you can't be bothered, even though you can't be bothered to come hang when I stream. Oh, that's a call out.
Well, I didn't know BCP streams.
He does.
I didn't know.
Normally after uni gets done for playing Tarkov,
yeah,
on his channel,
I'm
continuation
fucking asleep
then. So yes.
So BCP,
but
I know you just stopped in to say hi, but I'm asleep when you're streaming then.
Down to come in the live chat.
Yeah, he can. He can if he wants, but like I said, I think he was just running through.
I know. I'm just messing with it.
But yeah, so like so stuff like that would happen where I excuses. I apologize for my excuses.
And you know what? You need to no. You need to send him a fucking invite to come in here and stop talking shit and live chat.
I don't know.
BCP, stop being a bitch. Come in here. So I hear a bunch of like whining. Is what I hear.
I would invite him in, but he doesn't play real games. He only plays Tarkov. He doesn't play man games like Pokemon.
Oh damn! Oh damn! That's a fucking like response. Oh my god.
Nah, I can invite him if he wants to come hang out. I don't care.
I'm just playing. It's all fun and games. We can just fuck with each other all the time.
Yeah, I know. He's good for screwing with everyone. He treats everyone equally bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like you don't play cartoon. This is not a cartoon game. Do you see any fucking cartoons? No. My name's not Ash Ketchum, bitch.
Oh damn! I want y'all had this fun.
Well, this is, like I said, I have no problem admitting this is a kid's game. I've got certain games that I play that are, they're definitely not like FPSs and all that kind of stuff, but I do enjoy more difficult games than this. Usually I'll get frustrated at some point doing this, especially if there's like, if you weren't here, I'd probably be frustrated by now. I'm more than distracted with our conversation. And I'd be playing something like Metroid instead by now. which is a
I
really
enjoy
fun
our
game.
conversations. It's been fun. I enjoyed this, right?
Hmm.
You know, I enjoy our conversations in Discord as well, and so
Oh yeah. Oh, that felt good. My elbow popped there.
I don't. You
Should
say
bust
things
out the
like that,
Legos.
and I don't know if I want to know,
My elbow popping.
or just
It's.
anything like oh, that felt good. I'm like, ah, yeah, okay.
Don't worry, I'm not a dark side Phil. So,
Right.
Lego. You want Lego? Let's see here.
Yeah,
Do
it'll
you
be the dream
want
test. Legos.
Lego Ninjago? Do you want... I don't even remember why I bought that game. Because no one ended up
Lauren
playing it.
T, I also listen to Gospel, so you do not stand alone. I do. It's some of my favorite workout music. Like when I'm lifting, I love Godsmack.
My favorite Godsmack song is Voodoo.
Voodoo's a great song. Yeah. But
Now, I'm one
yeah.
of the few people who will admit I actually enjoy Nickelback. I haven't listened to them for ages since their second album, but up to that point, I enjoyed them.
CJ says you're not a badass unless you stepped on Legos.
Knowing my collection of Legos, I've stepped on them a few fair times.
And Lauren T, I'll tell you have you listened to Ginger? Jinjer.
Voodoo is a stripper song.
Yeah, no. The song's called Pisces. But Ginger is the lead singer, the female from Croatia, I think, and she's one of my favorite growlers of all time. Oh my God, she's just. I mean, it sounds like a demon has taken over her body. It's amazing.
I can never
Oh,
remember her name. I haven't really listened to the radio in forever. Or when I am on the car listening to the radio, it's like talk show time instead of music time. But there's this female singer who, she's not a girl or anything like that, but she sings like rock and roll. She
okay.
has a really sultry, like rock and roll voice, you know?
Ooh, yeah. No, I like the yeah. Agreed.
BCPI throwing Legos down on the floor in the dark.
Well,
All right.
a little sadomasochism going on there. Does it on purpose.
Let's go ahead and actually switch this Metroid Dread for a little bit here. I'm getting tired of hearing the grass rustling in my back in my head here. I hit myself in the head. Go to point to my ear and I forget I'm wearing the headphones, and you hit the headphone instead. This game is actually really, really. This is probably one of my favorite games. I've beaten the game 8 billion times. I haven't managed to get the actual good time you're supposed to get like, you know, all the you know, here's all the best endings kind of deal, but
Right.
I found a list of like all the different sequence breaks you can do, you know, like skip ahead and do stuff like that. And I finished all of them. Now I just have to actually beat the game.
Nice.
So it's like, oh, get this device early, get that device early. So I was playing this the other night when we were chatting with Uni on his stream. So I was playing this while we were all chatting together. And just doing all the sequence breaks. And now I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Because usually I go by, okay, well, I face this boss, this is the next one I'm supposed to go face. And I don't know who the next boss is actually supposed to be. Because of the sequence breaks I've done. Like, so I'm in one area that's not supposed to be frozen. But it is now. And it's not, well, it's supposed to be frozen. It's just not supposed to be, oh, that's right, I got screw attack early too. It's not supposed to be like where I'm at in the game.
Right.
but because I did one of the sequence breaks, it tricks the game into saying, "Oh, this area is frozen now," and so I don't know where I'm supposed to go offhand.
We'll see.
Oh,
You know, Nerd Angle, I also really enjoy Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence. It was an amazing version. And if you haven't heard it, you should go listen to it. CJ, you should go listen to it. It's actually amazing.
you know who's another band that I actually enjoy? Who
Ooh.
is Five Finger Death Punch?
I like a couple of their songs. I'm not like a huge fan, but yeah.
I'm looking to see if there's an option.
Oh,
so I can...
Nerd Angle, that was a fucking shot across the bow.
Oh, can't do that.
Shot across the bow.
What, the "she thinks my tractor is sexy" comment?
Yeah, that's like a horrible song.
It is.
I'm sorry. It is a horrible song. It's the dumbest thing. Oh my god. Oh, I'm like, it made me sad to be from the South when that song got popular. I'm sorry.
Ah, here we go.
Well, I get technically I'm not from the South. I'm from Texas. And Texas is its own thing. So everyone in the South is like, "Oh, you're from Texas. It's not the South, right?" But
Was it the song that my sisters used to listen to all the time because they were into some kind of country? Was the "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy" song?
well, and I like that song. Right. It was by Big and Rich,
Yeah.
and you know, it was a good song. It was a good song. It was fun to listen to. Right.
Yeah.
Like, you know, One Hot Mama. Like, have you ever heard One Hot Mama? That's a great song, right?
I think
But
Nerd is
it
just
serves the
purposely naming bad country songs right now.
Oh, yeah, Nerd is. Like, he's definitely an attack. Definitely an attack. Lauren T, I agree with you. Texas is awesome, and everyone else is jealous. I agree.
I've never been jealous of Texas. I can say that much.
Well, it's because you ain't been here and lived here for a while. And you'd be like,
I lived
no,
there
I
for
understand.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months ain't enough. 6 months.
It was more than enough for Texas.
Boy, I'll show you some stuff. You're like, I don't want to leave Texas anymore. You come down here, I will show you. I will show you food. I will show you things you can go to, and you'll be like, you know what, Texas is fucking awesome. Yeah.
Honestly, though, one place that I always regret going to, after I've been there for a while, is Florida.
Well,
it's just
Florida's Florida, you know.
Yeah, Florida is definitely Florida. It's just one of those, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I go there and it's fun for a little bit, but after that little bit, you're like, yeah, I'm kind of over Florida now. Like,
Yeah, I'm good. It's a great place to visit. Yeah, exactly. Right. That's how I feel about California, right? California's a gorgeous state to an extent.
hmm
And I will do nothing more than visit there. I will visit, hang out, see the coast, and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to go back to the great state of Texas. So, yeah. Yep. So,
yeah, Texas was,
Dad,
you know,
you and I, like, we're fellow Texans. So, yeah, you know how it is. It's the Republic of Texas. We know this.
You know, the one thing that I have to say about, like, living in Michigan for a long time, as I have, and then the time I spent in Texas, all that kind of stuff, compared to some of the places I've been in my life, is that it's the same thing that happens here in Michigan, like I said. is the people are actually incredibly kind-hearted for the most part.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and I think that's where I'm supposed and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's my dad lives in Florida, so as a young guy I used to go there quite often. You know, you kind of have to because, you know, the divorce that I had to kind of deal. And Florida people, some of them were nice, but for the most part they're fucking assholes. Like, and you know, everyone jokes around Florida man, all this kind of stuff. Well, I can see why Florida man's a real thing, because I can see people in Florida being that kind of idiot and asshole. You know, but in Texas, everyone was for the most part, you know, real nice, and it's the same thing. Like, people in Michigan, you know, were for the most part usually pretty kind-hearted.
Yeah.
We're not kind-hearted half the year. It's too cold to stand outside and have a conversation. You know, I can kind of say the same thing, nerd. Right now it is outside my house. I can pull it up right here because it's on the corner of my screen. It is 14 degrees without wind chill. And with wind chill, it is 3 degrees outside.
Right now where I'm at, let's see, both the weather channel.
We don't talk about where you're at.
It feels like 47 degrees.
Congratulations.
It's actually 51 degrees. So yes.
All right, where am I supposed to go here? I'm supposed to go face. Oh, I wonder if I can actually pull this off. There is so one thing that happens in these games that was really cool, that, you know, people who are much better at this game than I am have discovered, is that you can get like secret kills on some of the bosses depending on what abilities you have. And the boss that you have to face to basically reignite the you kind of have to like reignite the furnace in this place so that it's no longer frozen. The boss has a secret kill if you can pull it off, and you should be able to, you know, you have the equipment by now anyways, regardless whether or not you've done skips. But I'm facing this boss out of order too, by the way. He's not supposed to be the boss I face next. I think the boss I'm supposed to face next is the one that has the storm missile. But this boss has a secret kill where if you can hit it with a basically like a speed boosted attack, you manage to kill in its second form instead of having to go through like all these like, oh, now you got to counter it and do this shit. But this boss was cool because you see it much earlier in the game, before everything goes to like real hell, like, because you accidentally release like a special parasite into the world, and it infests the dead body of what you're about to face. And so now you're facing the creature, and you see it in the background as like an experiment. It's like getting shocked and stuff like in the background. This game looks so damn fucking pretty too. They did a real good job on this game.
Alright, Tom, I gotta go to bed. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. And y'all have a good night.
All right, Davey. Thanks for hanging out, man. Shit. I keep missing. Ah, fucked it up. And dead. And turn off my... Mute that. Okay, let's go back. All right, let's try this again. This time with less dying. This game is very jarring to change from, you know, just hitting one button to basically do everything in the game to now you gotta remember to hit this top button when you hit this button and to hit this button to fire. Like, I remember to hit all the right buttons. Ah! Also, a good suggestion when you're playing this game, oh, night nerd is oh, fuck that up. Is don't fuck up. No, is have a controller that's not got a drifting button there. My control stick drifts down a little bit. Sometimes it makes aiming difficult. That's so much fun when you do shit like that in this game. No, up. Ah! Am I supposed to have? Yeah, I think I'm good. Kind of. All right. If I can live. Oh, messed it up. That could have been an instant win. I screwed up. I'm gonna pull it off just because I don't want to now. But yeah, I've got to find the storm missile boss, which usually I have storm missile by this point, which actually helps when Z57 puts its 4 arms out. You can actually hit them all with the storm missile, which is a multi-missile target attack, and it knocks all its arms off, and you get a bunch of health for it. But yeah, the counters and stuff in this game are a lot of fun because you do shit like this. I don't know if every single boss has one, but he definitely. Oh shit, he definitely does. Come on, let me aim. Yeah, okay, gotta definitely use Storm Missile for that. Ah, hit him. Oh, son of a gun. Yeah, he's a right nasty beast. Come on. Oh! Well, at least I missed. Oh, damn it. Someday. Oh, I hope it's not like pneumonia either though. Or or any kind of like bronchitis is bad enough. But I know my mom developed pneumonia from COVID. She got like the Omicron variant or something like that and ended up developing pneumonia from it. Yeah, that's, and this is definitely the you know, the season where people usually get sick in to begin with. So I hope, if you do go to the doctor, I hope it's nothing, you know, major. I hope the doctor tells you, yeah, you just got like a, you know, a bad cold, you'll be okay, kind of deal. No, come on, go. Yeah, that could be a possibility. Oh shit, I didn't realize my health was that low. You know, it could also just be, I know a lot of times in Michigan, people develop allergies to like pine resin and such, just because there's so many pine trees in the in certain areas of Michigan that at times people just develop allergies to it because it's so much in their system, and so their system tries to fight it a lot. So oh wow, that takes like a whole tank. Okay. I'm not paying attention to what attack he was about to do. That was... Rawr. The nice thing about doing those counters is you get, you know, a good supply of missiles and health back. And if I can knock out a couple of these claws, get a little bit of health back that way too, apparently. Nothing else will let me miss that attack, at least. Oh, frickin' claws. This is the bad Santa Claus. We'll get him. Eventually, gonna get him. I just have to pick a better time to do the run too. So that claw, when he's that claw swipe thing he does, his claws are generally in the background until they come around to swipe at you. And when they come around to swipe at you, they enter the foreground enough that you can get hit by the claw itself too. Ah! Screwing up big time on this one. Oh! Yeah, so like I said, the claws enter the foreground in order to make their swipe at you. And when he goes to do the double claw attack, he brings both his claws out like this, and I was in the center of the stage, and so he gave me a love tap and killed me. I'll take the health. Oh, that's not much health. Damn. Basically, I can't get hit again. Not if I want to win. You know, I wonder if... Oh, damn it. I thought he was going to do the breath attack thing again where he turns on the fans. Damn it. Yeah, I don't pretend that I can, you know, speedrun this game or anything like that, but I have a lot of fun playing it regardless. Oh, okay, well. Apparently if you hit the claws on the side of the screen here, it hurts. Yeah, usually you do this part if you do it the regular way like 2 or 3 times. I think on hard mode I did it 4. This is not even, like, this is the best part. This isn't even hard mode. I think it took me... Oh man, I don't even know how long it took me to beat hard mode. Oh. Screwed up. Nope, okay, that would have been... Ah! I think I got that part kind of figured out now. I should start running before he gets the fans, like, completely on. So that when they're coming on before he gets the energy things, I can probably hit him. We'll see if that works. I'll try it that way. But I've had fun watching people who play this game much better than I do play, like, some of these things, and some of the tricks they do. I don't know how they do it. Like, when, like, some of the skips. Man, he pulled his attack out early. Unfortunately, his head is not weak to regular laser blasts, because you can lay on the laser blasts, like, you know, you can really lay those out a lot quicker than you can the missile strikes. Oh, lost it. I had it too. Ah, well. Ah, cool. Good, I'll take help. Oh, no, I won't. Ah, he ate me. Oh, I got eaten. This is one of those games, kind of like how you play Tarkov, where he dies a lot, where I'll just die all the time. I'm like, oh, this is great. um, basically, instead of countering, oh, stick's starting to stick up again. Yeah, instead of countering his attack, I missed, and so he basically ate me because I was so low on health. Ah, screwed it up. Oh, this might want to be one of those real quick runs. Ah, no, aim up, son of a gun. It is definitely a combination of a controller that, so one thing that people talk about with Nintendo Switch controllers is the drift, and it's a real thing. Like, sometimes when I'm playing the Pokemon game, you'll watch my character suddenly start to walk straight down screen. That's because the controller I use sometimes registers me as hitting down. And so that's why, like, when I'm shooting at the missiles at the guy, sometimes you'll see me shooting, and then also I'm shooting downwards. And that's because, for some reason, my control stick said, oh, he's actually aiming down. Like, thankfully, it doesn't really affect too much. Ah! But, like, I have no trouble with the jumps and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes you don't want to be aiming down, and suddenly I am. Thankfully, I don't have to aim here. The computer will auto aim for me. You just gotta tap the missile button. I hate when I feel like I'm blaming my overall, like, honestly, I'm not playing this too well, right? And I hate when people are like, oh, it's the controller's fault, because it is a little bit in part, but I can't say, oh yeah, completely, Right, okay, come on. Ah, damn it. Oh, for sure I had it that time. Oh, that was not the right button. No, aim up! Come on, come on, come on. Oh, good. I could use a little bit of health back. My health is shiny. Oh, I missed it. Oh, oh. That was not the attack I thought it was going to be. Damn it. I thought he was about to do the fan attack. Oh, I was doing so kind of good there. Oh, wow. It's almost 12:30 a.m. already. I hate the fact that sometimes I feel like I can't sleep at night, and then during the day I'm just like, yeah, can't stay awake. God damn it, Tom. There, that's the attack I thought he was about to do. So the one downside to this game is, like, it's not a downside. It makes sense that they do that. But when you get the missiles originally, you can rapid fire them a lot faster than you can with the ones I have, because what happens is you get an upgrade to them. You get the what's called the super missile. So, you know, I was hoping I could get. Okay, what are you gonna? I lost. I had it and I lost it. Oh, that was perfect too. I just didn't aim properly. Oh well. One day. Oh, that would have been a 2 for me. The best part about this game is I'll laugh when I die, because, like I said, even though there's issues with shooting the missile, which means that I do less damage than I might want to at times, a lot of my mistakes that I make aren't due to bad button inputs kind of deal. Ah, no, aim up. Yeah, I missed the timing. They like that. They flash, and if you hit the counter button properly at that time, you'll, you know, get some health back. You'll be able to deal extra damage, that kind of stuff. Alright, did I get him to second phase? Nope. Now I did. Oh, I could have gotten 3 hits on that too. Come on. Ah, I'm gonna lose. Oh, fuck! One of these days. I don't think you can get enough speed to make it... No, I don't think you can. You can't... There's not enough space in the room to get a Shine Spark charge normally, is there? Yeah, no. Alright, come on, Tom. Pull yourself together here. Game's like, here. We know you're gonna need the help. Oh, I thought I was gonna get it that time. Ah. Someday over the rainbow. All right, come on. I try this battle one more time. Then it's about 1 a.m., so I'll probably have to go to sleep soon. I gotta make sure I make the kid up in time for her to go to school in the morning. Ah. Aim. Thank you. No, up! Ah, screwing up now. No, that's a whole different Metroid boss, Nightmare. There actually is a boss that's named Nightmare, and it kind of is. Ah, damn it. No. This boss, like I said, I think it's Z54 or something like that. Experiment Z54. If I can get him to his final phase, I can get a lot of health back. Oh, damn. Oh, all right. I need to call it a night, though, before I decide to run at him one more time. I gotta wake up in about 6 hours to make sure I get Sophia up for school. Lauren, thanks for hanging out. Everyone who still might be here, thanks for hanging out. I enjoyed myself quite a bit. Even though he's not here, thank you again for hanging out, Navy. Everyone have a great night. I'll see you around.